Hello again, everyone. It's race day in Indianapolis. I'm Gary Godsoe, and welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Round 7 of Season 12 of the VOR Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship. As today we come to you from the world's greatest race, the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the Indianapolis 500, presented by ALZ.org. Joined in the booth by my regular companion that will be with me all season long here in the R18 series, Erik King. Ryan, welcome. How was the break?
It was definitely eventful for any of you who follow real-world IndyCar.
Which we might talk about if we get into the doldrum laps in the middle of this race. Also joining me from our DW12 coverage is the wild one, Kyle Clindy. We had a good race yesterday in the DW12s, but we have a packed and stacked field today with a literal who's who of just about the community in this particular lineup. What do you expect today? And also, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a predictable race, though, and with 100% fuel loads and the tire limits that we have.
Yeah, it's going to be more than just a who's who, Gary. It's going to be a who's where. Just like yesterday, we're going to be starting with a 3-wide traditional Indy 500 start. So you're going to have rows 3 deep all the way through the field. Look for the drivers on the inside to have a big advantage on the initial start here, and that the drivers on the outsides of each line mind their P's and Q's and don't bump fenders, lose any wings, or cut each other off going into the first set of corners here.
All right, we are lining up, and we got to get into the starting lineup. So they will take an extra lap like they did yesterday if you watched the DW12 coverage, and then they will come to green at 3 wide. So we have a little time here, but it is straight to racing, no warm-up, no qualifying. All that is done. Let's jump into it, and let's cue up the music. And there's row 1, and on the pole is Liam O'Sullivan, who finished 3rd in yesterday's DW12 race. Then yesterday's winner in the DW12 race and the defending series champion of the DW12 series, the iconic series, Edson Santos, in the middle of row 1. Julian Altena on that outside spot that you were talking about being so critical. We talked about the outside spot prior to 92 and the reconfiguration of the racetrack being the kind of the key spot to be in coming to green. But since the reconfiguration of the racetrack, the outside spot, a dangerous place to be. Moving on, Andreas Ike. I want to be like Ike. He's on row 2, along with Fordor Dershinko and Cameron Bustane. Yaroslav Donskoy in the New Garden livery. Mark Murphy in the center of row 3, and Lucas Laudato outside of row 3. Silvazzi, Millward, Kinder in row 4. Gallus, Forsyth, Stout, row 5. And is the pace car pulling off? It better not be pulling off.
Yeah, they're going to get this fake green flag lap.
That's what I thought. Lovern, Christensen, and Nathan Moore in row 6. Take your pictures now. Rizza, Jomo, and Tim Bree. Watch him. He had a good race yesterday in the DW12. They're back in row 7. Lee Kane. By God, it's Kane. In row 14, or excuse me, in the number 14 in row 8. Yonar Kausch in the middle of row 8, and Cody Meadows in the outside of row 8 there. Matthias Strauss, Lucas Santos, Chin Van Velde. Chin in a nice pink car today. Check that out. He's back in row 9. You won't be able to miss that at all. Back in row 10, fellow broadcaster Lorenzo Bonder. Back there in row 10, Seb Alexander's got a long way to go in the middle of row 10. Dan Inch, who will be carrying the ALZ.org sponsorship, and they are presenting today's Indy 500. He is on the outside of row 10. And then back in row 11, Jordan Evans and Luis Nunez. No, that's not our LGN. That is the other LGN that's in the community. He's going to start shotgun on the field. And this 32-car field, Julie did a really good job of getting a lot of interest in recruiting for this one to get 32 cars.
Gary, Luis Nunez may be starting last, but he had the fastest time in practice.
Yeah,
So
watch
that.
Watch exactly. Watch him. Watch him. I believe, didn't he qualify for the Pro Series? I think he did. We might have our
stat. Go at the pit wall here, not on the green flag.
All right, we might start with our stat checkers to make sure if Luis Nunez is in the Pro Series. I believe he was one of the first, the final 33. But here we go, coming to the green flag. They're going to start at the pit wall. Field is under the command of Liam O'Sullivan. It's not the first time that someone named Sullivan has been on the front row here. Here we go. Green flag in the air. 500 miles. Guys, buckle in. Long afternoon as right away Liam shoots to the front, dueling around Santos. Santos falling into third. Three wide going through three. With Craig Forsyth there. Now they're starting to get situated. Too wide, a little bit further on the back of the field, down the back straight. Still too wide in the back, trying to get situated. Oh, car on the inside wall! And that is Lee Kane. No yellow, but he went ahead and towed. Back up front. Like Lee just got loose off of 4. Here comes Ike on the inside of Santos. Strauss around Vinvaldi in the back. That is a battle for 24th. I know it's early, guys. You seen anything so far, or is everyone just kind of behaving?
Sort of. We've gotten through that start phase. Now we're in that early phase of finding a rhythm and seeing what your pace really is in traffic.
Caution on the racetrack. Big wreck in the back. Lucas Santos involved. Alonzo Binder involved. Also Dan Inch involved. Jordan Evans involved. 4 cars. And let's see what happens. Where does it start? I think
it starts in the exit of turn 2, or I guess entrance of turn 2. Lucas Santos puts his left side tires down on the apron, gets out of shape, and gets run over by Bonder.
Here we go, watching Lucas Santos here. Gets underneath chin, but yeah, apron bad, and oh. And then the other 2 guys are just victims, innocent victims. So we are early, caution early here in Indianapolis. Let's see who decides to come down pit road on this one. Let's go back from the look from Dan Inch's ride here real quick.
Seb Alexander also had a front row seat. His in-car view was pretty fun to watch.
Just see how quick, this is half speed. Just see how quick everything happens here at half speed. Inch, yeah, there's no place to go.
Murphy threw a bit of a fake towards pit lane, but no one bit.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to this. I'm kind of surprised. Normally there are some takers out there to decide that, you know, I'm going to go in and try to take this opportunity to get maybe stay out a little bit longer than everyone and catch a lucky yellow.
All right, so Seb Alexander, Luis Nunez, and Dan Inch has damage, and so does Jordan Evans. But look for Seb Alexander.
Yeah, that's a good strategy by these guys so far back.
Luis Nunez to make the most of this going forward. They're going to have about 4.5, maybe 5 laps of fuel more than everyone else because of the extended pace period. So let me burn up the calculator real quick for you.
Yeah,
Gary.
we're all hitting the calculators real quick to see what the numbers are going to be.
At 195 here. Well, okay. So if they can go 31 laps every time from here.
No extra stop.
That's more. Actually, it's going to be 32, I believe. Gotta go 32 laps every single run, and you cut a stop. You guys got any good race food on today? Something to sit back, relax, and snack on while we enjoy 500 miles at the world's fastest rectangle?
I have a cup of tea and a protein bar.
That sounds awfully European. I shouldn't be eating while I'm broadcasting, but it's just been one of those type of days that just food arrived. Former sponsor of an IndyCar, Steak and Shake. He sponsored Graham Rahal for a season.
Steak and Shake originated in my hometown, the first one ever in Bloomington, Illinois. Currently, it's a Monocle's Pizza, but a long time ago it was...
Steak and Shake started there, huh? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Steak and Shake is the top of culinary delight here in Indianapolis, but it's one of the few places here that's kind of unique to this area of the Midwest that everyone tends to like when they come here. But I think we're getting ready to go green here now. And let's
lights are out on the pace car.
Yep. Coming to green on lap 7. So this first run going to go a little bit longer. Probably will get us a little bit closer to lap 40 for that first stop.
I don't think if the leaders can get to 40.
We'll see.
Yeah, it would take a couple more cautions and make it to 40.
I did say closer to lap 40, did I?
You did.
Oh, they're spreading out in the back.
We're stacking up.
Not sure where the bad start came, but we are stacked up in the back. That's right where Seb and Nunez are.
Hugo Gallus has a big gap between the cars in front of him and behind him, so he got caught sleeping one way or the other. Cody Meadows got rear-ended.
Cody in the yellow Submarine. Forsyth, Millward battle for position between two streamers. Oh, we're going to have
Stout
a fourth
looking
car.
to go through.
Here we go. Stout 3 wide into 1. And the smart one there was Craig. He's like, no, not now, not at lap 8. Now he's going to get a run on Millward. Nope, he's going to stay right put. Again, Craig thinking long-term, possibly fuel conservation right off the bat.
Just a long way to go. In order to finish first, you must finish.
Exactly. Our racing Confucius. Kyle Clintworth.
Sometimes my patience wears thin on the racetrack. In the booth, it's a lot easier to pretend like I'm calm.
Altena Auto Sports cars teamed up at the front, trying to put room on the front of this field. They have managed to break away just a tiny bit, but not a lot yet. Everybody's still safely in the draft. O'Sullivan, Altena, Santos, Ike, Doshenko, Donskoy, Bostaine, Murph, Lodato, Salvazzi, your top 10 very early, lap 10 here in Indianapolis. Not in the lineup is Jesper Orman, the points leader for the VOR IndyCar Series, so we might have a new points leader coming out of this. Probably important for Julian to get a solid finish if that's the case. We'll bring up the points here in a little bit, but it's Indianapolis, and do points really matter when it comes to Indianapolis? That's a no. That's a no.
Yeah, that's definitely a no. Rather, if I'm not winning, I'd rather wad my car up dry.
So Ryan, would you rather have the New Garden season where you win at Indy and then crash everywhere else, or would you rather crash at Indy and maybe win the championship?
Oh, I mean, if you win at Indy, you're probably going to be in the series a lot longer to rack up some season-long championships.
I mean, just look at Helio Castroneves. Not a single IndyCar championship.
He is the 500 Whisperer. Is he the 3-time or 4-time?
4-time.
4-time.
Yeah. They're stacking up here behind Edson Santos. Donskoy, Dovchenko really looking to make moves here. Donskoy right on the attenuator of Bostaine. Or sorry, of Seca. They both have those green cars. Got them mixed up.
And Dovchenko
He's going to build a run here on the outside. Look at Murph go.
Yeah. He found the OP line.
It's only OP if no one's there in front of you. Then it's underpowered. You've got someone else playing the same.
He's up there. He's up there by a full car length right now. There are your track conditions: 78 degrees ambient, 96 degrees track temperature, humidity in about 60%, in the mid 50s there, and wind right now pretty light, not an issue right now at Indianapolis. Yeah, he's staying up there. Let's ride with him. Let's see what he does. Now, the benefits of riding up there, Clindy, is you got the clean air, and you get big runs down the straight. But the takeaways of running up there is there's not a lot of room, and those walls come up on you rather quickly.
Actually, I think there's a ton of room. The problem is when someone else in front of you decides to do the same thing. Ike seems to be wanting to hustle the high side every now and then, and Murphy will need to back out extra when that happens because there's no longer any grip when you no longer have clean air. So there's plenty of room, and so just like here, when Ike takes that same line, you've just got to back out, and you're not going to build that run that you would if you had the clean air. And another thing that happens is you see it happening to Ike right now, is that you open the bottom up for attack.
Yeah, because the shortest way around the track is always going to be that bottom line.
That's the thing, Ryan, is it might be the shortest, but it's not always the fastest.
Nope.
We got going on in chat. Go ahead, we're watching Murphy here. We got the camera on him.
Yeah, so he really sent it into 3, and everyone filed to the bottom in front of him, but the run is not going to materialize until here down the front stretch. He's got about half a second to the end of the train. Didn't make up much room there, and then he files to the middle rather than the top. I think his offensive charge is stalled for the moment. Probably taking care of his tires here.
Yeah, Rishi in yesterday's race checking in chat. Good race, everyone. Cheering for my friends Edson and Craig. Marcos, what the WTF, Bonder? Shame on you. Scott Christensen, got to do the Rick Mears philosophy is we'll get you the first 100 laps so you can race the second 100 laps. That is pretty close to the Rick Mears philosophy. Actually, it's done in miles. He gets to the last 50 miles, and that's he lets it loose there. But unless it's 1984 where he dominated the entire freaking race and put the whole field a lap down.
Yeah, because the way the 500s run now, mentally, I split it up in the quarters. At the end of the first quarter, you want to be on the lead lap. At halfway, you want to be in the first half of the field.
Yeah.
And heading into the last quarter, you want to be fighting for the lead.
First got a big run on Donskoy. He's going to take it to the bottom. He hasn't passed down here all race long. Let's see if he sets it up correctly.
Ooh, a little bit about you on this. There's not much side draft on these cars, so I'm not sure what the check was there. Millward was getting in a position to try to pass. I think he pulled that off. Here, and they're getting around Lodato. Here comes Forsyth. Oh, and now Stout going to go 3 wide again.
Dotto's going to break away from them, being the first car in the chain there.
And then back in line. Yaroslav says, would have been great if I had some food for this race, but I'm a driver. Well, I guess you got to suck it through a hose for the time being. There's going to be liquid nourishment. And there's Christensen getting a look at the inside of Nathan Moore. Nathan Moore, very skilled. We've seen him in some of the top split races. And Tarrant Farm saying, cheering on my buddy Meadows. Cody is back in the yellow submarine there in 22nd.
Despite a little bit of incidental contact on that last restart, he seems to be no worse for wear. Hopefully he can start picking them off here.
Now, have we done the quiz of everyone who's driven the yellow submarine in IndyCar history yet? Have we done that one?
Not today. I mean, you've asked me before, and I think I got 2 people right. So,
well, see, Ryan, how well can you do? Do you know everybody that's driven the yellow submarine in IndyCar history?
Oh.
We got easy ones. There's real easy ones. So we know Elio did, right? And we know
Mears.
Rick Mears did. Yeah, that's another easy one. And
somebody drove it this year.
Yep. McLaughlin. Yep.
Yeah, McLaughlin, Newgarden.
Newgarden has never driven the yellow submarine.
Wow.
So the first driver ever of the yellow submarine, Allenser Sr. And then he had the seat in 79 and gave it up because I guess him and Hall did not get along very well. There's something in the contract. Gave that seat up and gave up an Indy 500 win. Oh, Meadows on the outside to Johnny Rutherford in 1980. So that is your next driver of the yellow submarine. Then the yellow submarine went to Penske with Mears. And then it went back to Hall when Hall re-entered IndyCar racing. So Teo Fabi drove it. Another winner in the yellow submarine, John Andretti. He drove it to a victory at Surfers Paradise. And also, don't forget, Sam Hornish drove the yellow submarine. Roberto Guerrero drove a variation of it. And Thomas Schechner drove a silver version of it. And Gilles de Ferran. You know, Gilles de Ferran drove it for the 95 season and didn't even make it through turn 1. He got wrecked right off the bat early in that Stan Fox wreck. Yeah. When you say, "Whoa," everyone sees the still pictures of that one where his legs are hanging out. Yeah.
Just got another run here on Donskoy.
Let's get on back up to the front.
See if that feeding tube's going to slow him down.
Oh. Murph back to the top. Big run down the straight now. Here it comes.
This is the hardest part to manage. He chose to lift here because the only way you can take the run on the straightaway, if you're not on their right rear quarter panel on corner exit, you have to go to the inside. And then you no longer have the benefits of the slipstream of the car in front of you because they're all trying to maximize corner entry. So you've got to pounce and get to the outside while you're still in the corner. Murph chooses the inside here. Let's see how he manages the dirty air and the tighter line. Max out to get to the top.
A lot of close battles, but everyone's just kind of minding their P's and Q's. 24 of 200 in the book. Excuse me. Go to the outside on Donskoy.
Largely, it is one large, unbroken chain of cars. The biggest real gap that matters is the one behind Forsyth.
Oh, good. Yeah. Had to downshift there. He got a good run in the center of the corner. I think Donskoy had to check up a little bit.
Schenko's kind of starting to walk away from them. He's front 5. And pit stops will be coming up soon for everyone who didn't stop before. So everyone but Alexander and Nunez. Whoa, Dovchenko on the wall.
Dovchenko in that green GoDaddy car.
Just a kiss. It'll be okay.
Starting the snake down the backstretch now. Murph trying again on the inside now, coming to 3 of Donskoy. Donskoy fades on him. Wow. That was a little bit of a blatant Pruitt fade there.
The VOR teammates are actually messing with us, Gary. They're trying to get me to analyze why they're snaking so early. I will give them no such pleasure.
Are they talking? Oh, wow. Murphy on the outside. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I rarely ever see a move like that so close, side by side, around the outside of the first corner ever work through, because it relies on the person on the inside holding their line and not driving up out of the corner.
They were about 1.5 inches from Mark Murphy's day ending. It did touch, but it wasn't enough.
Wow. Yeah, good job, guys.
You know, you might upset them emotionally, but you didn't upset the cars. I think Murphy's marching forward.
28 of 200 now. Do we see pit stops here happen very shortly? Is anyone going to go on the 30-30-30 schedule for going on and out here now, or what? Or do we go as long as possible? The rule is, so I've heard 2 rules. So I've heard people say go as long as possible. You know, wait till that last drop of fuel drops out of the tank. But then Davey Hamilton would always say on the IMS radio broadcast, and there is someone coming off the pit road. There is Cody Meadows coming off the pit road. He would say, as soon as the window opens, I want to stop. But I guess everyone's window is different, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like it depends on the scenario. Where, like, if you know as soon as the window opens and you stop and you know you can come out in clean air, it might be worth doing. But generally, I try to run long until that last stint.
Forsyth around Legato up at the 12th now.
The last stint is the only stint that I will pit as soon as my window is open. Now, sometimes, in order for that to happen, it necessitates that you pit at certain laps beforehand or stretching it further earlier in the race. Usually those two strategies are married in a way.
I always picture my pit stops here at Indianapolis like dots on a graph. I hit this dot, then predictably, I'm going to hit this next dot at this lap number, and this dot at this next lap number. And if I hit the dots all the way, ideally for me, and this is where we jokingly call it the Nick DeGroot strategy, is you hit that last dot at lap 170 or whatever race you're in at 30 to go here in Indianapolis. That's when you want to make your last stop, at least at that number.
The Altana Motorsports cars are feeling a little heat here from Edson Santos. He's building some runs on Julian. But if you're Liam, you got to feel pretty good. When that lap 170 comes around, you can probably even pit a couple laps early if you and Julian are committed to swapping and saving fuel together to get that clean air, to maybe open up, making sure that you are the first person to pit road. So if there is a late race yellow, you don't lose all of your track position to anyone who beat you to pit road. Liam's in. You lead every lap, you get the worst fuel economy.
31 with yellow, 32. First stop of the day, critical green flag pit stop. Hit your marks. Make sure you get within reach of all your crew members. They can get to those tires. That hose can reach the inlet. Gravity-fed fuel cells here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Not pressurized. Down and away. 9.8 first stop. Let's see where he pops out.
You're not in danger of losing a lap here if you pit under green. Only if you're somewhere between 6 to 9 seconds behind the leader does that even become a question.
And Altena, we got a number of people on pit road. Nathan Moore staying out. Gala's staying out. They're in a battle side by side through the North Short Chute right now in front of the suites. Stout on pit road. Leon O'Sullivan done. Doshinko now on pit road. He's a little cockeyed there. Nunez staying out, of course. Alexander staying out. Although they haven't really made up much ground.
Oh, they're the last two cars on the racetrack right now.
Julian staying out one more lap. Morales now picking up spots on people on pit road.
Yeah, so for everyone who did not pit under the first yellow, Gary, you want to run 34 laps. So that way you can run 33 laps 2 more times to get to lap 100. And then that way you can run 34 laps to run 66 laps divided twice into 33 to finish the race. That's the premier green flag running strategy. This is completing lap 34 here, so anybody who does this...
Bunch of cars on pit road now. We got Donskoy. We got Bostaine also on pit road. Got a number of cars hidden by the pole there. Seb Kinder on pit road. Lodato? Is that Lodato on pit road?
No, Lodato's on the backstretch.
A number of new liveries that we're trying to figure out. That's Hugo Gallas. That's it. Yeah, it's Hugo Gallas. He's not in his familiar backfire livery. Here comes, there you see O'Sullivan going on by them, so he will pick up those spots. Ike now staying out. Altena on pit road. Santos on pit road. A whole number of cars now coming to pit road. Oh, Strauss misses his marks. That's going to cost him, especially under green flag. He's still having trouble finding them. Oof, that's painful.
Yeah.
Here comes O'Sullivan. Ike coming in, Murph coming in. And O'Sullivan's going to join out Julian. So Julian jumps him. Well, not yet. Here we go. Outside. Going into 3. And it's teammates racing. So you know it's going to be clean.
Millward and Lodato have still not hit. Lodato's coming this
going
lap.
out long for the Englishman. Lodato also staying out long.
Seb Alexander got around Edson Santos.
Aiden pit road, Lodato pit road. So now we're going to hand off to those that did the little dip and go very early at that first caution. And that was going to be Seb Alexander and Nunez. They all pitted on lap 5.
This will be that closer to lap 40 mark that they'll be able to make.
Both these drivers up a number of spots. 28 for Alexander, 30 for Nunez. Remember, Nunez started shotgun into the field, 32nd. And there's Seb Alexander and Nunez. The furthest back a driver has ever won the Indy 500, 28th. 28th. Now it's held by Louis Meyer, who won in 1936. And I believe that's when he introduced the milk as well, when he won that race. Alexander down on the way and Nunez down on the way for their scheduled stops. And we are now handing the field back over to the Altena Autosports teammates of Altena and O'Sullivan, with Andreas Eich now engaged in the battle.
Something to note, Edson Santos missed his pit box very badly. I think you mentioned that, Gary, but the fallout of that is that he's now running 25th instead of up in the top 3.
Oof. Yeah, Matthias Strauss was when we were watching, and yeah, he's right there back with Santos in 26th. Christensen getting around Alexander coming off of pit road. Move Christensen and Moore now up to 14th and 15th. Seb rejoins at 16th in the mid-pack. Luis Nunez in 21st. He's up 12 spots. Alexander up 13. So your biggest gainers of the day, by virtue of just coming in at lap 5 and topping off, are those two drivers. Alexander now up 13 and Nunez now up 12. So that bought them some track position.
Just from the way the cycle played out, and they're going to harvest more gains as this run continues to stay green. Their tires are now the freshest, and they need to save the least amount of fuel going forward. So while they didn't make much headway in the first run, this second run should allow them to pass some cars on pace rather than on strategy.
And a little note for Lewis, who started back in 32nd. The best finish ever by a driver starting 32nd in the Indy 500 is 4th place. That is in the history of this race. So it's not boding well for him to get the win. A top 5 isn't within the realm of possibility. Jim Hurtubise, who was a longtime kind of a fan favorite of the early USAC days, was a driver that accomplished that feat back in 1961.
You know who's probably a little upset with how that pit cycle played out?
Anybody? Well, go ahead.
No, it's Mark Murphy, because Donskoy's back in front of him, and all of the hard work he did to get around him the first time has to be done again. So we'll see if he makes the same type of hair-raising move into turn 1 on the outside to get around him. He's doing it right now in turn 3. Let's see if it sticks. No, Donskoy pulls back ahead.
Now we have a train of cars back to Stout in 7th, who is at gold and white or tan and white car back there.
No, they're side by side on the front stretch.
Easy, boys, easy. Donskoy was doing
Murphy's
a little bit of
not done.
Donskoy was doing a little bit of weaving there. Like, hold your line, buddy.
He just wanted more draft. That's all he wanted. It's like when your little brother, mom buys him a Sprite, and there's only one straw.
Donskoy, a bit of a fade on Savazzi. Gotta watch those. They could be considered blocks, especially if the move was made by Savazzi first.
You can't move in reaction to the car behind you.
You're allowed one move. So if let's say you come off the corner and want to go to the inside, you're allowed that one move. And then if you react to the car behind you, then that is what is considered blocking in IndyCar Racing. And now Murph on the back of Ike.
Showing his nose in Ike's left mirror. Just, hey, I'm here, man. But Ike, if he's been paying attention, knows that Murphy is a high-side merchant. And Ike should not have to protect... shouldn't have to protect that white line. Murph will find a way on the right. Here's Donskoy coming back on Murphy.
Jeez, hold your line, man. What the heck? That is
real hard to go straight.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive. If you don't move your car like that, you actually go faster if you can go in a straight line. Now he's to the inside of Murph. Now he tucks back in.
No, Murph's really wily. I think what he's doing is backing Donskoy up so he can feed him dirty air so he can break away with these front four.
Yeah, and to use cycling terminology, you don't have any rush room if you're trying to draft someone right off their attenuator.
Well, someone's going to be watching the Tour de France this summer, or was it? It was already this summer. Or did they cancel it this year because it was the Olympic year?
They ran it early this year.
Okay. And the leader of this current peloton is Julian Altina.
See, this is what I was talking about with the Altina cars, right? Julian will lead this stint, which will allow Liam to save fuel, and then Liam will lead the next stint, which will allow Julian to save fuel, right? So they can basically control the lead between the two of them and effectively get the same mileage without ever having to do a swap draft. They're swapping legs rather than straights.
Playing the long game of the stints here. We'll give you an update. Altina out now is 12 laps out on this stint. O'Sullivan 16 laps. Ike Murphy 11. Donskoy 13. Salvazzi 11. Stout 15. So he's been out there for a while now. Kinder 13. Bostaine 13. And Forsyth, who's now worked his way back into the top 10, he is 11. That is your top 10 in terms of their current stint length right now. 48 of 200. We are past the 100-mile mark.
Bad news, Gary. Sad news. Cody Meadows has retired his car.
Oh, the Submarine is out. It's been sunk. Caution. Caution on the racetrack. Joseph Morales. What happened to Jomo? He's racing Santos at the time. Oh. Apron bad. Apron bad. Apron bad.
Get that low.
Oh, and then he gets a little help from Santos, but I'm not going to blame Santos there. That wasn't a chrome horn necessarily. I think Santos saw the action in front of him, was trying to avoid it, and Jomo just checked up on the power, and of course, with so much downforce, even with the minimum downforce they have on the oval configuration here, that's enough downforce just to, as soon as you come off the power, it's like hitting the brake, and he just kind of ran into the back of Joseph Morales there. Let's go back a little bit more and watch this. Edson Santos, let's ride with him. This is what he sees. He just checks up. No fault of Santos. I don't think there's any fault of Santos here. Yeah,
I think he was just trying to miss it and picked wrong, right?
Yep. He chose poorly.
Well, fuel strategy is no longer a concern, Gary.
Right.
If everyone pits here, it's 150 laps to the finish. That's cleanly divisible by 30. It'll be 4 more stops from here if you choose to pit. Santos is going to pit. He's missing half of his front wing. The remainder of the field, they can kind of choose to do whatever they want. I think pitting here is probably the preferred strategy, but it is not required.
Yeah, you're right on about half a stint length for a lot of these guys. And once you get to that half number, I say come on in. And here we go. Everybody, it is a pit party here at Indianapolis. Although John Christensen and Seb Alexander and Luis Nunez are rolling the dice. Strategy B now is in play at the front of the field.
And this is all because they pit on lap 5. this is all materialized for Seb and for Lewis because they made a different decision on the first pit stop.
Well,
now,
and Christensen did not, but he's now joining them on this.
Correct, but he will not. He'll have to make an extra stop over Seb and Lewis.
Right
here, coming to the finish.
So we have strategy 1, which is whatever one's on, then 1A with Christensen, and then strategy 2, which is Alexander and Nunez, which is enough of a different of a strategy to kind of put them off on their own plan right now. Christensen could be Christensen decided not to come to pit road, wanted to lead a lap, and then we'll come to pit road next time by. We'll see. I'm not sure. That's giving up a lot of track position in a race where it's very hard to pass. Alten is out in front of everyone, along with O'Sullivan in 5th. Donskoy now is in 6th. Ike 7th, so Donskoy makes the jump, and now Murph back to 8th. So Donskoy
clicking on all cylinders on pit road today.
Yeah, Donskoy does a very efficient job, and only 6.3 in the box, and jumps a lot of cars, or at least one car.
I'm really interested to see how early John Christensen chooses to pit. I'd assume he'd probably come in somewhere around lap 65. But we'll see. And then Alexander and Nunez will probably come in on lap 72, 73.
If you're enjoying Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future VOR iRacing broadcasts. Bringing up the calendar here, see which one the next one is so we can tell you all about it. Next broadcast for us on VOR will be the 20th. That will be Clindy and myself at Nashville. DW12s at Nashville Superspeedway before they will race there the day before. The IR18s will be there the next day at Nashville on the 22nd. So the 20th and the 20th and the 21st are your next two VOR broadcast dates for the Iconic and IndyCar Series Championship. And that will be the 2 races for September in the books. Lights out on the pace car, getting ready to go green. Christensen is your leader, and then he'll be followed by Alexander and Nunez. Christensen pitted on lap 37. Alexander Nunez on 40. Everyone else behind him just pitted and on new tires. Green flag in the air. And let's watch Donskoy, who is getting pretty aggressive already on the back of Liam O'Sullivan. Julian not wasting time inside of Nunez into 3. Clear, move him up to 3rd. Wow, Seb went way high. I thought for a second we were going to have an issue there, and I think he's just running that second lane. Julian follows him up there. Nunez going to get another look to the inside of Julian. Going to tuck back in.
Tenno's going to have a huge run here on Alexander. Shifts the inside, lunges ahead to second place.
Oh,
and he's going to take the lead from Christensen.
Yeah, teammate just says, keep the run going. I'll give you the room.
Well, maybe John needs this, because with the caution lap, he may not have to make that extra stop if he can save a little here. Maybe he didn't want to lead.
Inside O'Sullivan on Nunez. Oh, boys. Ooh, aero wash big time.
O'Sullivan trying the high side this time.
I think spotters are telling people that the high side is in business right now. There's Murph up there.
Stout's going to use the bottom on him. He doesn't have a slipstream down the front.
And that is a teammate just up ahead of him, and Seb Alexander for the IAR car there of Murph. And Ike still in the Team Talent colors, but I believe he's with Powerslide now. Everybody's single file coming off of 4. Back up to the front, Julian starting to break away a little bit by 3/10, now 4/10 over his teammate Christensen. Alexander from the IAR Indy Alliance Racing Team. He is P3. Nunez, P4, who started 32nd. O'Sullivan on the pole is currently 5th. Donskoy 6th. Ike 7th. Murphy 8th. Stout 9th. And Salvazzi now in 10th. Forsyth was up there for a little bit. He's fallen back a couple spots. Altena now leader by 4/10. Going to be 5/10 here relatively shortly. And those new tires are definitely helping him get through those corners. Still, Christensen getting the benefit of the draft. Top 4 now starting to pull away a little bit. They're really starting to stack up behind Donskoy. Although, Kinder side by side with Doshenko going into 3. Little twitchy back there. Let's watch this battle from Craig Forsyth's point of view. Across the yard of bricks right there. Into turn 1. This parallels 16th Street, main entrance right there, going over the tunnel. In turn 2, this is where I sat for my very first Indy 500 right there in those suite, or not the suite, but the turn 2 grandstands there. Down the backstretch.
How old were you, Gary?
I was 12.
5 years old?
12 was my first 500. And turn 3, we sat there for a number of years. And then finally, the last couple years that we went consecutively, we were sitting right about there, turn 4. Down the main straight. Drivers equate running down the main straight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as running down the middle of a tunnel.
It sounds awesome. You get the sound reverb from both sides.
Yep. Stout and Murphy in a big battle up front.
Yeah, because Murph's been committed to the high side. Stout's been sticking it to the inside here and there. And Salvazzi's going to try the same thing on Stout because he loses momentum on corner exit, whereas that's where Murph has all of his momentum on the exits.
Murph on the inside of Ike. No, tucks back in. Donskoy did smack the wall, or at least kissed it.
How much money do you think I'd have to send Murph to have him pass someone on the bottom?
I don't know. He'll do it wherever, I would imagine. Riding with Stout.
Murphy found some clean air in the middle there. He's going to have a huge run on Ike. Ike just feeds him a whole wash, a whole boatload of wash.
Yeah, he did. And that caused Stout to have to roll out of it too. And that whatever run Murph had is now gone. Whatever ground he had is now gone. He's going to try to reel that back in.
you've ever been wakeboarding or tubing behind a motorboat on a lake, the aero wash is exactly like that. It comes out like a V behind the shape of the car in front of you, just kind of like from the outboard wake of a boat. The closer you are, the narrower it is, and the stronger the effects. But it stands out very, very broadly.
On the inside of Murph. Doesn't quite have the spot there. You could tell because he hasn't gone up the racetrack. There's Murph. And now, yeah, there's the wake right there. So this is all low pressure. That's where the vacuum and the pull of the draft is in through here. And the problem with Murph,
really the same effect,
right? And the problem that happens with Murph is that he has another car in front of him there that's doing the same thing, and he's behind him, and he's in the same thing. So he's not getting the good air on the front planes of his wings. So he needs to go up a lane to try to get that good wind, and that's the good air, and that's exactly where he's right there in that corner, and that's why he went high, and that's where he's been high for most of the race. Stout, big run down the backstretch, and try to take a look. No, rolls out of it. Still happy at P9 there. See all the cars in front of him. No reason to panic. Ike going high that time. That time Murph stays low, and that caused Stout to have to roll about. Now Stout losing distance to Murph.
All kind of just a big accordion effect, right? One car loses momentum, and it causes another car to try to make a move, and then they both lose momentum.
Alexander.
He slid back to 5th, and Nunez has propped himself up to 3rd. So the two B car strategies have swapped positions here. Checo smacked the front stretch wall just out of turn 4 2 laps ago, and Forsyth got by. I think Checo's got damage because he can't stick with Forsyth any longer. So Lodato, Millward, and Moore, if they don't know that Checo has damage, they might stick behind him to save fuel for a while, but it's in their best
they're going to be giving up pace. Yeah, they're going to give up pace and time. Oh! He got loose off of 4. Introduced the right rear. Oh, he's not, I don't think the tracking right here. Let's ride with him. It looks like a little bit of counter steer on the front wheel, on the steering wheel. I don't know that he could have dialed that in, though. That's one of the things you can change. .68 of 200. Let's check the weather here. Track temp now, or ambient temp 78, track temp 115, humidity right at about 60%. Wind out of the northeast now, 1 mile per hour.
Stout got a huge run on Murph. I think he's actually going to make it stick here going into 3 this time. Because Ike's also been running the top. Ike runs the bottom.
Wow, Murph. Big break for Murph.
All the while, the front 3 are starting to put a little distance between themselves and Liam O'Sullivan. What a great job by John Christensen on those old tires, though.
Yeah, 32 laps into this run, though. It's about any time that we should see him on pit road.
Stout making the same move again. It's all going to depend on where Ike runs in the corner. This time Ike runs the middle.
Oof. everyone getting close to the wall there. Now Ike
I think
and
Godsoe was
Godsoe.
in it. Oh, Murphy's going to get Donskoy here because he's going to push up on exit because of the dirty air. Murph's going to go to the bottom.
Ooh.
Not clear. Not clear. Not clear.
No! I wonder how much of that was a little frustration.
100% was that. 100%. This might bring out a yellow. He's stopped on the backstretch. He toes.
Watch this again on the he gets hung out on the outside. And he now drives in there side by side with Murph. There it is. Not a lot of room for Murph. Murph keeps it off him, but coming off the corner, he didn't go all the way out to the wall and kind of came down on Murph a little bit. Murph gave him room. I don't know. That's just my point of view. I thought maybe Murph kind of came up a little bit and was trying to get him to roll out of it before hitting that wall. And there's no such thing as rolling out of it for Yaroslav. And he's on pit road. So back up racing-wise. We're back going. Still green, 71 now, up 200. And Christensen now extending this stint length to 35 laps.
Give a big shout out to Craig Forsyth. He called that accident out on the backstretch and let everyone else weave around Donskoy without further incident. Christensen's pitting this lap.
Ooh,
Pit road speed.
Whoa. Locked him up, almost smacked up, tapped the inside wall there. Hopefully no meatball or no black flag for speeding. He stops just short of one of the timing strips. Remember, he started 17th. Down and away. Actually, he just stopped short of the timing strip, the start-finish line, so where his pit is. And he's out well in front of Julian.
Nunez is now inherited second. He can build a big run on Altena. He had a big one down the front stretch, but rolled out of it. So he might be playing a numbers game with his fuel. Liam O'Sullivan is so close from breaking away from Seb Alexander and the rest of the lead pack.
Whoa. Whoa. Nunez goes up there to block on the high side.
It's not going to happen racing like that, that's for sure. That costs them both time. Murphy looking to the bottom on Ike.
Everybody but positions 2 and 4. 24 laps in this stint. So we're looking at pit stops occurring within about 5 to 6 laps. Probably about on the lower number for Julian. Here's Stout to the inside of Murph going into 3. Murph just feels confident on the outside. He just lets him have it, and he holds the position. He defends. He's very comfortable on the outside right now. And here comes Nunez to pit road. He's going to 35 to 36. Inside now, Murph. He's trying to crowd that little bit Stout. Get the run. He slides up. Brazilian clears himself between himself and Stout. Stout now tries to go to the inside. Forsyth up to 8th. Salvazzi 9th. Lodato 10th. I think as this run goes longer, I think Forsyth is coming into it now. He seems to be catching this group now.
Just being patient, man.
Here's Seb Alexander, pit road.
First couple hours don't matter. The last couple matter a whole lot more.
Them coming down. He has one of the first pit stalls. Nails the marks up on the jacks. New set of Firestone Firehawks. Full tank of Shell fuel. Down and away. Stop done in 9.4 seconds.
All right, Ryan, you can be any car on the racetrack right now. Which one do you pick?
I'm taking 12. I'm being Liam right now. Perfect position. You're up front, but you're not leading, so you're in the ideal position to save fuel.
And behind him, that is Doshenko. He is down a lap. Doshenko is only 6 laps into his current stint, so he just stopped not too long ago. He is in the middle of this battle with the leaders.
If he passes Julian, that will put him back on the lead lap. It looks like they may have been able to fix whatever damage he had because he's well up to pace.
And Julian just lets him go. Now Julian can follow and get a little aid from the draft now, something that he has not received a lot this whole second stint. Stout's going to take a hack at it again. Inside of Murph in the 1. Not going to come up. My concern is and we only know Stout from this series. I don't know him from any other series racing IndyCar. So is he going to get eventually frustrated and just send it in there? It's like, I can't pass. I'm just going to send it. And are we going to have an accident at that point, or is he going to show the patience to the inside in the chute? My concern is he's going to send it at some point.
Yeah, and desperate moves create for short races.
Desperate matters.
No longer for everyone else who survives.
Right.
Because you have to pace for a little while.
So
That's
everybody on that
everybody
on that second strategy has already pitted. So or even 1A and strategy B or 2, they have all pitted. So strategy 1A is Christensen. Strategy 2 is Luis Nunez and Seb Alexander. They're all back at 19th, 20th, and 21st as Christensen managed to come out in front of Luis Nunez. So it's Alexander, Christensen, and Nunez, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Here to the inside, Murph. Oh, just not enough speed in the middle of the corner. That high line just so much faster.
And Stout's going to pounce.
I think what Stout needs to do is the next time he sees Murphy making that move, he needs to commit higher than Murphy does so he can cross him over on exit. Basically, Murphy loses so much time in the center and the exit of the corner when he tries to pass on the bottom. Even with a high arc entrance, if you do what he does, even more exaggerated, right? Enter
Stout,
higher to the right. Oh, there he goes. That's how he's going to deal with it. He's going to try to pass him in the pits.
Yep. And also Yarno Couch on pit road. So early stops for these guys. They are right at 30 laps. .31 laps now for everyone in the top 10 on this stint. Santos, he's 30 laps into his stint. He's back in 14th.
Well, that was kind of the play from pitting under the last caution, right? Because it fell at lap 50. You want to pit in 30-lap increments. You don't need to push it any further or shorter because you can't save a stop. Pitting on lap every 30 laps is optimal if there is a yellow and you execute cleanly on pit road. Altena, I think, is going to be pitting this time.
And look who's right behind him. Edson Santos.
Fought his way up to, I think, 14th after restarting 26th here. Really good run from Santos.
And we know Santos will play, will gamble and play strategy on pit road, like putting in less fuel. Now here's Julian. He's getting passed by the others on the second strategy.
Yeah,
and he's getting passed by Stout. Interesting.
Julian and O'Sullivan were running slower behind Checo. So they did lose a couple of tenths each lap to this trio who pit on strategy 2 and 1A. Julian can still draft back up to Stout. We'll be close though. Murphy's in this lap.
Bostaine on pit road. There we see Forsyth coming off of pit road. Strauss coming off of pit road. Badato on pit road. Lovazzi on pit road. Seb Kinder in that Marlboro livery on pit road. And got Tim Bree on pit road. Murph might be in that group. Yeah, Murph comes out first. Green flag pit stops. I'll tell you what, there is nothing more exciting than green flag pit stops at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When you get the 500 going and everyone's stopping under green. Just love seeing how these other strategies unfold. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, because exactly as you put it, it is the decisive moment to whether the strategy works or not. If you see the car in the alternate strategy blast past the pit exit while everyone else is still trying to roll off.
I was at the 2021 Indy 500. That was the first post pandemic one. That's when Elio in his fourth. Ike coming to pit road. And O'Sullivan also on pit road. And the stop that Graham made, and I was my daughter. I was there with my daughter, and she's very good with maths, and we were crunching the numbers, and I said, I think after this stop with Graham, he has one more after this, and he's done. And we calculated that's out to, and he came out, and that's when he wrecked with the tire. And remember how upset he was when he was on in the interview going, we had the plan, this was our race. He's not lying. He's not lying. We ran the numbers sitting there in the stands. And like, he was going to go one less stop than everyone else, and he probably was going to win that 500. And that's why he was so upset. And frankly, I don't think he's really recovered since then. But if you when you see these other strategies come out and you start doing the math, you go, wow, how'd they figure that out? They're going to be one less stop, or they're going to be one less half stop. They're still going to be so much faster than everyone else on that last stop. It's just interesting how this plays out. So these green flag pit stops building the drama to the finish of this 500 still. We've only had a couple of cautions, and hopefully no more from here on out. But the leader right now is everybody on that second strategy. Here they are, all three of them, with Stout, who just stopped. Julian's there. But Alexander, Nunez, and Christensen. Nunez now the leader. Christensen underneath Alexander. Push him to P2. Alexander back to P3. So these are guys that started 17th, 29th, and 32nd. Not necessarily in that order. Here comes Stout. Is he going to go three wide again? Christensen taking a look at the outside in the mid-corner. Look who else is up there. Craig Forsyth. Oh, thank you, Craig, for making me look good again. I should call him the stylist, because every time I mention him, he makes me look good.
He threw it into turn one.
He did.
Cutting it up.
And O'Sullivan is the one that suffers the most on that. Back to 7th. Murphy 8th. Ike 9th. Kinder 10th. The top 10, almost all under the same blanket. Jano Kausch, he's up 12 spots to 11th. Edson Santos recovering from a poor pit stop on his second stop. He's now 12th.
Worse than that pit stop, being back there let him lose his front nose cone and wing in the last caution we had. So Santos now is in the draft envelope of the leaders after soldiering through the entire field on the previous stint.
Okay, so with Nunez, who started 32nd, so let's say that we had a 33-car field and Nunez started 33rd, the best finish ever by a driver from 33rd in the Indy 500 is second place, and it was done 2 times. You could probably think of that one really easy. The other one not so much easy. So can you tell me who started from 33rd to finish second in at least one Indy 500?
Marcus Ericsson.
No. Brian, you want to take a hack at it?
I'm stumped.
All right, so Scott Goodyear. That's the easy one everyone should remember. 92. He started 33rd, finished second, just by the narrowest of all margins to Al Jr. Tom Sneva in 1980 finished second in that Indy 500 when he started 32nd, or 33rd. So there is no precedence from, even if Nunez started 33rd, there is no precedence from a winner coming from 33rd in real IndyCar racing. But this is virtual IndyCar racing, and can he do it? He is certainly battling up at the front, but they are on a completely different strategy, all of their own. Alexander, 15 laps. Nunez, 16 laps. And let's see, Christensen is on 19 laps. And this, in terms of the stint length.
Made the short pit work?
Stout.
It's Carl Stout.
Yep, and there he
takes
goes.
over the lead.
Stout to the lead.
We're wondering how he's going to get by Mark Murphy. He did it on pit road. And not only did he get by Murphy, he got by everyone else. But look at this field. They've all coalesced back into one giant blob. Standing out 2 and 3 wide every corner to try to get every inch of clean air they can on their front wings.
The Indianapolis 500 is presented to you by the Alzheimer's Association and ALZ.org. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other types of dementia. And they do that by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. But they can't end Alzheimer's without your help. To learn more and to donate, go to ALZ.org. Link is in the description. I want to thank them for being the sponsors, or being the presenting sponsor of the Indy 500 here, the 12th running of the Indy 500 in the VOR IndyCar Series. If you're just joining us, this is Velocity Online Racing coverage of the VOR IndyCar Series coming to you from Indianapolis for the Indy 500 presented by ALZ.org. We've completed now 94 of 200 laps. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. So we're almost at a halfway point. Are we daring to pick winners yet, boys?
To get back to me in 30 laps.
You know what? Stout has impressed me. He's impressed me a lot. He went heads up, short pitted when he knew that he could. He took over the lead. He drove through the field to get there. I've never seen him race before, and color me surprised. He's doing a whale of a job. He's my pick.
Color you surprised in the beige or the white and gold or white and beige car?
Hey man, sometimes you just need a little taupe. A little taupe in your life.
He's actually kind of putting some distance between himself and Seb Alexander there. Was almost by 4/10, though the draft pulled him within closer to a 10th now, 3/10 down the front straight. Stout, Alexander, Nunez, Altenna, O'Sullivan, Forsyth, Christensen, Murphy, Ike, Kinder, your top 10. Michael Fisk's checking in chat. Adrian Millward, yes, he is in this. He is back in 16th right now.
Don't count him out. We're only halfway. Santos fought from 16th to 9th? Hold on, where is he? 12th on that last run, so. Good car to follow. Within the clutches of Millward.
And Scott Christensen getting the Sneva mention in. Yep. If you want other perspectives, you can check out Millward's channel. He is streaming right now. Also, you could open another tab, and depending on what version of Windows you have, or maybe if you have the extra software inside your Mac, you can do the snap. So you snap one window to one side of your screen and snap the other window to the other side of your screen. You can watch us in live, and then you could bring up either Millward, or you can go to Forsyth, who's in 6th right there. He's streaming on Forsyth Gaming, and you can watch from the driver's point of view as we call the action.
For those of you who don't know, on a Windows machine, just press the Windows key and the left arrow, or the right arrow, and the window you currently have selected will take up exactly half of your monitor.
There you go. Brake Check 101, let's go Indy Alliance. Well, we'll give you an update on Indy Alliance P2. They are on a different schedule right now. That's Seb Alexander, and also Mark Murphy back in 8th. He's on the prime schedule. So IAR hedging bets on 2 different schedules right now, on 2 different strategies.
They're both up front.
And they're both
Not
up
the
front.
very front.
Yeah.
But in the top 10.
Donskoy getting kind of railroaded in the back at 16th. Not sure what happened. Or Doshenko.
If you remember, he had to race to unlap himself on the previous stint. He had some damage from contacting the front stretch.
Yep, here comes Strauss, who won at Gateway. Bree getting a good run there. He's that Sirius XM Auto Nation livery. And Doshenko might be saying discretion is a better part of valor at this point and coming to pit road. He is 29 laps into his run, so maybe he's right at the point where he's just, I'm just going to do every 30 laps, and we'll just end it at that. 101 of now 200. We are halfway through this 250-mile race. Eyes on Stout. I think we had a call out on O'Sullivan. I continue to watch Forsyth there in 6th. There's Ike on the outside of Murph. Murph on the outside, inside of Murph. Murph defends on the outside as he'd be doing all race long. He is the doorkeeper to the high side. Ooh. So Vazzi might have smacked the turn 4 wall. But Murphy is a doorkeeper to the high side right now in terms of that second lane up high.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't tried more aggressively to get up with Seb Alexander, because if the car in front of you, or car in front of you you're trying to pass as your teammate in front of them, running the high side and communicating with your teammate makes the pass trivially easy. You just say, hey, I'm going to take the high side, build a run on this guy. Can you feed me the draft down the backstretch or the front stretch by driving lower than the guy I'm trying to pass? They do it for you, you pass them, and you're on your way. Now, there are only 6 cars between Murphy and Seb, right? So it's a little difficult to coordinate that right now, but Murph's seemed pretty content to run an 8th here this run, whereas in the previous runs he was fighting tooth and nail to get further up the running order.
Jordan Evans from Pit Road checking in. He retracted his message, but he said he got dumped by the 4 car. Hey, with that, he got the apron, and if I haven't seen Bloomquist do it on lap 1 of the Indy 500, if I didn't see Connor Daly do it coming to the green flag a few years ago, I think in the 2020 race he caught it coming to the green flag. Oh, Bree in the wall. That was a good lick. Lovern's gonna
damaged.
Lovern's gonna get a look on the outside here. Better be careful. The car doesn't unload itself in the corners, and Lovern is clear. And if I haven't seen Marcus Ericsson, grab the apron as well, and wreck, I would say that Lucas probably did something that would be considered a rookie mistake, but. With those level of drivers in the real world, leaders of the Indy 500, former Indy 500 winner, a world sports car veteran, I would definitely say that just a simple driver's error. It can happen to anybody, but it did take out 4 cars, unfortunately. And that's what happens when you have a big field and there's a mess up, somewhere in the mid pack. It's going to collect more than 1 car. And Bostaine getting around Lovern. The battle for 19th and 20th. Still can't get him quite cleared. Back up front. Should be pit stops here soon for this group in 1A and Group 2. 1A is Christensen, and he is 33 laps into his current stint.
Christensen just hit the button. He told the field he's coming in. Alexander Nunez will probably go 2 or 3 laps longer than this. That kind of strands Murphy. He may not be close enough to Craig Forsyth to have his draft.
Okay, next up is Alexander and Nunez in 2nd and 4th. They're on that second strategy. Last time they pitted at laps 77 and 76 respectively. Were they able to save any fuel to go any longer on this run?
I know Seb Alexander did. I don't know if Nunez did. Nunez was fighting really hard at the beginning of this run with Julian and some others.
Ooh, Forsyth. Get a little cockeyed coming off the corner. Same thing for Santos. Those right rears are wearing out, especially with everyone just going up and up and up on that weight jacker.
And you got less weight in the back because the fuel cell's running dry.
Stout leader by now 7/10. And by the time when Alexander pulls off, he'll be a leader by about a second. Yeah, he would be a leader by about a second. He's almost extended the draft envelope away from Altena. We'll see if Alexander coming to pit road. Alexander coming to pit road. And that's going to leave Julian high and dry, 1.6 seconds behind the leader and out of the envelope.
It's not only that, Stout has a car that he's drafting off. That's a Christensen in front of him.
Now, if I'm Julian, I'm telling my teammate not to allow that.
I mean, that would end Christensen's race.
Yeah,
Intentionally going a lap down?
Yeah.
Losing all that time?
Now, the difference between Stout and Christensen is 1.1, so he's in the envelope. And Julian's
on Altena down the back.
Julian's barely there. You can see on the tree, Julian 1.3, so it's 1.5. There comes Nunez. So the second strategy guys will be pitting, have now pitted.
Julian definitely has Strout's draft as well. He was not left in the dust.
Yeah, now he at one point he was, but he's at 1.3 now. So if you're anything inside of 1.5, I mean, now Christensen's starting to do a little bit of the weave. He wants to hang on to this lap. We don't know how much longer Stout can go. He went 31 on his last stint. He's at 28 this time by. He's led most of this stint. So I would imagine that he's probably not going to be able to do that whole 31. We'll see.
Well, I'd imagine he's going to get as close to Christensen as he can. Basically eat up those 3 to 5/10 of a second and then pit.
Yep.
Don't bother trying to pass him down the fastest laps you can because he's got a gap now to second. And if he can build on that in the pit cycle, he can maybe break away. And this is not a fuel mileage race, so running by yourself, if it's faster than running in a line, you should do it.
Forsyth up to 4th. Stout, Altena, O'Sullivan, your top 3. O'Sullivan started on the pole.
Forsyth chipping away at the distance between him and O'Sullivan, hoping that he can do the same for Altena, so that way there's not a breakaway at the front.
Forsyth 7/10 back from O'Sullivan. 112 of 200. Puts next stops in the 140-ish range. And then that perfectly puts the final stops right in that 170-ish range. See, we're on a lap 112, and we're already forecasting 2 stops from now. That's how predictable.
Down to pit road.
Go ahead.
Oh, he got down to pit road speed cleanly. He did it really well.
Stout. Okay, got Stout right here. That's how predictable these cars have become. We've been in them for so long. It really, a stint is right about 30 laps, and then the skill of your driver, engine map, type of, have they been able to hang out in the draft, really determines if they're able to go 31, 32, 33 laps.
Now, if Stout can be ahead of Alexander here by a large margin, we'll know that his timing here on his pit strategy worked.
Ooh, and Alexander not even to the start-finish line yet.
Yep.
And Nunez
I think Stout might be able to walk away.
Nunez is running with Alexander. They're doing a bit of a swap draft. And Christensen right there. But Stout, middle of the backstretch as they are coming off of 2.
I think he's going to end up with about a 2-second advantage, which is out of the envelope.
Yeah, let's go back to that Stout. Stout's got 3.4 over Nunez. That might as well be 3 miles.
Now, what's going to matter is whether or not Julian Altena can run lap times faster than Stout. Because if they're slower, if he runs 4 or 5 laps that are slower than Stout's, or if his pit in and pit out are slower, he will no longer be in the draft envelope when this cycle's through.
All right, well, that time
Santos
by
made his stop.
That time by was Julian at 41.528. Stout this time by hasn't crossed it yet. And Stout just should have just checked in 41.438. So Stout just a 10th quicker. That time by Julian now 41.478. Stout just a little bit quicker.
Trading times. So interesting to note, Santos here cycled through behind O'Sullivan. So he's well behind Seb Alexander, Luis Nunez, and
he's also down a lap.
That have already pit.
He's down a lap with Jarno Karsch. Okay, here's Stout's next lap versus Julian's 41.78 or 41.478. Stout 41.484. So Julian that time by a little bit faster. Karsch on pit road. Actually, not on pit road. That's getting positioned. Sorry, but Altena on pit road.
Clean in the box, clean out of the box for Altena. He comes to a stop, does not miss his mark. Up on the jack stand. Gonna hold him for fuel for just a moment.
misses his marks. He had to back up into him. He's down and away. Bostaine coming into his pit stall.
And it's getting up to speed here. Goes Stout.
There goes Stout.
Blasting by in turn 1. Altena needs to be disciplined here. You can't push too hard on the exit of 2. You can clip that grass and it'll end your day. He's going to be 1 second and some change behind Stout.
But he comes out in front of Murphy. Murphy just stopped.
Murph did a really good job on pit road. He made up a ton of time. He's probably going to cycle into 3rd once it all shakes out.
Yeah, he managed to jump all the cars on that 1A and 2nd strategy. Forsyth coming off of pit road. Trying to get up to speed. Using every bit of the access road. He'll be side by side with Nunez coming off the corner. He'll tuck in behind him. Craig Forsyth rejoins this battle probably about 5th. He's also in front of 2 guys on the other alternate strategies. O'Sullivan out there still turning laps. He is now 31 into the stint. Ike right behind him now. Also, Santos has just been kind of hanging out in the draft here. Ike is 6 seconds behind this battle. There he is, just coming off the corner. Millward, pit road. He got himself up to third. Here comes Lovern. When does Liam come to pit road? Right now. That hands the lead over to Ike now, who has a lead over, about a 5-second lead over Moore now. Nathan Moore. Talked about him. We've seen him in some top split broadcasts that we've done over on P1. Moore now cycled himself up to second. He has not stopped yet. He has 32 laps on this stint.
Gary, I think we're going to have a 3-car race here.
O'Sullivan, the pit road, off of pit road. He gets passed by Julian, passed by Murphy, passed by Nunez, and he might get passed by Forsyth. We'll see. Forsyth's got a run going into 3, and he sends it up top. Ike's still your leader. Once he pits, we'll do a reset of the field at lap 122, 123 now. Ike went 37 on his last stint. So did Moore. Those two guys by far the longest runs. And if this stays green, I'd be curious to see where their final stops land.
I think they're just planning to short fill both of their last 2 stops. That's the only thing that makes sense, because you can't make it one more stop from here. Even if you make it to lap 130, which Ike cannot, it's still 70 laps at the end, which is 35.
Nathan Moore on pit road.
Ike's coming in. Altena has caught Stout. The question becomes, do they work together and swap draft to try to break away from Murphy, or do they just ride in line? I think Stout's not giving Altena the opportunity to swap draft with him. I'm not sure if it's been faster. No one's done it yet today.
Murph is going to he's going to cycle up to third now as we now cycle through this last stint. Stout, Altena, Murphy, your top 3. Luis Nunez, O'Sullivan, Forsyth, Alexander. Christensen, Kinder, Santos now your top 10. Your biggest gainers still are Stout at 14 spots, Nunez at 28, Alexander 22, Kausch at 12, Strauss at 11. Julian right in the tire tracks, and he's going to take a peek. Going to the inside, here we go.
Could be an orchestrated move. We'll see if Julian gives the inside to Stout going into 1. If so, they're working together. But Murphy's caught them. At least enough of their draft to make it a 3-car race. I think Nunez is close enough to Murph to make it 4 if they ever start battling. And O'Sullivan's close enough to Nunez to make it 5 if they start battling. Forsyth did an amazing job getting through 1 and 2. He's going to close the gap between himself and O'Sullivan to make it a 6-car race. Seb Alexander is the first car that I don't think has touched with that lead pack of 6. He's very close, but not quite. From Stout, he lifts and does not pass Alzheimer.
The games have begun.
Well, while we got a second, let's bring up because we got it about 70 to go here, and we've got a lot of race still to go. Let's bring up the remaining schedule for the season. There you see right now we're at Indianapolis round 7, so round 8 is Nashville, and there you see the remainder. Oh, let's get that off there if we see something.
Forsyth just clipped the wall. I think he's okay. Just a trim.
Here are the driver points. Jesper not in the lineup. And I'll get rid of that the bug there so you can see it. There it is. Jesper not in the lineup, so Julian will actually take over the points lead. Forsyth will move up to 2nd. Stroud's probably 3rd. Murphy is in 5th. Savazzi, Lovern, O'Sullivan, Inch. Ike, Kraus, Mustaine. Evans, Meadows, Christensen. There you see the top 25. And team points in the Alliance. Current leaders right now over L10 Autosport, Team Watson Racing. So news of the week, Ryan, as we are now in that kind of doldrum period where we're just waiting for these cars to set up the next to last and final stops. Mark Miles said some dumb things. What's going on with the schedule? That he wants to go to new places and he doesn't want to go to places that we've just been or places that we've been in the past. He doesn't want to go back to Richmond. He doesn't want to. But we're talking about a street race in Denver. I gotta say that I don't have a lot of faith in the series putting on good street racing. I thought Nashville was a bit, when we raced in the streets of Nashville, they were a bit of meme races. Certainly a car went airborne and ended up winning the race there. The better of the street races in Detroit got canceled and then put in downtown so it could go in front of GM's headquarters, and that race is just weird and it's not very good. Why do they want to keep going to street races, and why don't they want to go back and look at like the new markets that we talked about and Nunez on the outside of O'Sullivan? Why don't they want to go to new markets like Mexico? And that's the other thing. That's ultimately what kind of got the talk this week is Pato didn't really have some nice things to say about IndyCar or their lack of planning to get to an IndyCar race in Mexico.
Yeah, pretty much like the notion of doing more street races is kind of that fear that happened when CART formed in the late 70s and 80s, that it would just be a bunch of street races in the Indy 500, because street races are a sure trek. Any major municipal government will be willing to pay IndyCar to race in their downtown for, I think the term we use nowadays is economic impact. Will it actually yield to anything? Don't know. And there's also this other idea that Mark Miles has thrown out there of having an off-season international series, which I have no idea what he's even thinking about doing.
That costs money. And if it's not going to be done for points or money or, a championship or something, I don't see why teams, what interest. We're watching Kinder and Christensen side by side with Edson Santos right behind him as an interested viewing party on this. What incentive is it for the teams to do something like that if there's no money, no wins, no championship? It's just exhibition.
Well, there would be money. There are countries out there willing to pay for IndyCar to show up. Say, the Emirate of Dubai. They in the past have been really open to the idea of IndyCar visiting during the off season. IndyCar has been hesitant to visit the United Arab Emirates, which I don't know why.
Add to that, Ryan. I mean, there's also like national glory and pride, right? Like Pato probably wants to win on his home soil in Mexico, right?
Yeah, it would be a great homecoming, and obviously this all started because NASCAR announced that they'd be going to Mexico City next season. And it's recently come to light. It came to light during the Milwaukee weekend that that IndyCar had given permission to team owner Ricardo Juncos to put together a race. Ricardo Juncos believed that IndyCar gave him permission to set up a race in Mexico City, and that somehow he had the exclusive right to organize IndyCar races in Latin America, which, knowing anything about Ricardo Juncos, he has a vested interest in Mexico City not having a race.
He's Argentinian, right? Or what is the connection?
Yes, the idea is if Mexico City's hosting an IndyCar race, it's far less likely that Argentina would be given a slot on the calendar.
Battle for third, Liam O'Sullivan, Murphy. Murphy going to keep on the high side. Not enough momentum. O'Sullivan slams the door. Moved our pole sitter up to third. I saw that. I think overall Milwaukee put on a great show with oval racing once again for these cars. And I think we need to put on more oval races. Now, I'm not holding my breath for Nashville. I'll need to see it to believe it if we do a good race there. They race horribly in the sim, so I don't know how they're going to race in real life. But with Miles saying I don't want to go back to Richmond, okay. I mean, I will say by and large the IndyCar races at Richmond were not terribly exciting. They're much more exciting at Iowa. Which is a little bit bigger version of Richmond, and I think that little bit being a bigger version allows for some slightly faster speeds and some different style of racing to go on there. I don't think necessarily they had Indy cars in mind on Richmond when they built the place a long time ago. Stout back to the lead. Liam O'Sullivan now joining.
He saw the Altena All-Sport cars getting lined up here and thought he didn't want to get ganged up on. He's going to get ganged up on anyway. Here comes O'Sullivan.
2-on-1 cage.
Back
2-on-1 cage match. Handicap to the lead. As O'Sullivan takes this chair and smacks it to the back of Stout and grabs the lead.
What a power move.
But certainly we could see IndyCar return back to, I still don't understand why we don't see them back at Michigan. I don't understand why we don't see them, at some of these other tracks that just lost their cup date, that they're only one cup date. God forbid we can't find in 52 weeks out of the year a good date to go back to Texas. Can we get to Homestead? Why not Michigan? Why not Pocono? And don't tell me about the accidents of Pocono.
I'd say that I think they are thinking about media markets, and they want to be in major TV markets, which is part of the reason why they were willing to give Milwaukee another chance. But if you're looking at that from that angle, where you have the mile in Milwaukee, Gateway just out of Chicago, why not go to the other side of Missouri and have a race at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Next, Travis Kelce, maybe he'll bring Taylor Swift.
Next to last stop for Christensen. He's got one more after this. He's at 140. So if he goes 30 at this and gives the 170, that'll be his final stop. And he see if he can come out in front of the leaders. I think it's going to be a pretty tough ask to do that, but he'll be up there with teammates if that happens. We'll see. Here they go. might pop out after Murphy.
Not giving up on my pick, Gary, but I think he might have just lost the race there, not blocking O'Sullivan. Now he's got to pass both those Alpina Motorsport cars. And they're going to work really well together.
Yeah, I really want to ask Mark Mile who's he's talking to, who's he getting this data from, because I mean, there comes Seb Alexander to pit road. If you go to any IndyCar fan page on any place, YouTube, you go to or IndyCar fan page on Facebook, you go to the IndyCar Discord servers, you always see the calls that I want to see, certain tracks, and there, I do think that what makes IndyCar special over other forms of racing is that they're faster than stock cars on ovals, and they race on ovals, which something Formula One doesn't do. Formula One does very well at whatever street courses they have and whatever road courses they have, and we could do those well too. But if you're going to put us in a comparison to Formula One by keeping us on those, we're always being a disadvantage. I think we need to add more ovals and show how these cars are versatile in terms of they could be on short ovals, they could be on super speedways, they could be on intermediates, and then the next week they could be on a street course, and the next week they can be on a permanent on a permanent road course. Just sticking to what we've done and kind of what works. There are certain tracks that I would definitely keep on the schedule that those do work, but there are certain tracks I think we just got to go back to or need to add to the schedule. Otherwise, we're just going to continue losing market share like we have done the last couple of years.
So how much of that oval game has to do with NASCAR owning a majority of the ovals IndyCar would want to go to? IndyCar kind of sticking.
Yeah.
It does not help that the vast majority of the ovals in this country are owned by two companies, and one of which is NASCAR.
So, I mean, if I were the IndyCar leadership, I would do everything in my power to put a race in Joliet, Illinois on Chicagoland as soon as possible. That track is laid dormant, is perfectly race ready, and the market's hungry, right?
Yep.
And honestly, I'd probably try to double book with NASCAR when they do the Chicago street race. Have Chicagoland either the same week or within a week of that race.
So Stout was in. He's made his second to last stop. Penultimate stop, if you let me use my 50-cent term.
Penultimate, yes. You've been watching the other channel and listening to the other broadcaster for too long.
I have an English degree, Gary.
Oh, okay. Oh, Julian almost in the wall out of 3. And he's coming to pit road.
Someone's got to make the racing fight in. He takes it into his own hands to make sure that his leagues are as action-filled as possible.
And Murph is joining him. So
Murph made up a ton of time on pit entry there.
This should get them both to 175 and final stop.
Yeah, and the benefit of going a little bit long on this set allows you to short fill for the last one, so you don't have to sit in your box and wait for gas. It's about 2 seconds you save.
Nathan Moore also on pit road. There he is.
Stout passes Murphy. Stout's going to have a run on Altena here, coming down the backstretch. Let's see what he does with it.
Julian's going to stay to the inside. He's going to defend. Stout to the outside and makes it easy. Julian did everything he could.
That is one Altena Motorsports car down. If he beat Liam O'Sullivan through the pits as convincingly, he will re-inherit the lead, and my pick will be looking strong in the last leg of the race.
And on that note, O'Sullivan's coming in.
Crunch time, boys. I got my chips on the table. Who do you guys want?
I'm still going O'Sullivan.
I'm sticking with Forsyth. He's currently the leader right now. Sullivan now off the jacks, rolling. Can he beat Stout?
Having that first pit box actually might give him just enough breathing room.
Oh, yeah, there's Stout.
Stout's
going through 2 in the short chute off the backstretch entrance or exit off of pit road. And he's trying to get that car up to speed, doing a little bit of a weave. That is not blocking. That is not reacting. He's just trying to break the draft, and there he goes. O'Sullivan might might have just made the move that keeps him in the lead.
Now Stout doesn't have to pass 2 teammates, just 1, right? So if he can get it done on the first try and then keep them both behind, being second right now is the worst place he can be, because O'Sullivan can feed him Derriere and then feed the draft to Julian. So he needs to find a way to either get past or keep Julian behind to a point where he can't mount a charge.
Lodato on pit road. Seb Kinder on pit road. Coming to 150 here for a lot of these guys. Lap 150. Ike now second spot. Millward up to third. He's been going long on his stints. Hugo Gala's right behind him. Hugo's been doing a good job.
No, who's not out of this yet? Edson Santos. He's basically in the envelope of Nunez, who's right behind Murphy, who's right behind Altena. What a recovery would be if Santos can pull off a podium here.
Forsyth, pit road, next to last stop for him. Projecting lap 180-ish for his final stop.
That'll be a fast stop for Forsyth. He'll be in and out.
At Tim Bree, looking for his stall, coming to a stop. He's worked his way up to 6th. It'll be his next to last stop. Ike still out there turning laps. He went 36 laps on the last stint. He could go another 10 more if he wants. So a lot of stuff can happen in 10 laps, especially if pit stops are still occurring for some folks. Ike is your leader by 25 seconds. Jeez. That means O'Sullivan is just a little bit further down, not much further down the road. Here's O'Sullivan, led 47 laps today. Right behind him, Stout, who's led 21. Julian Altena has led 61 laps. The Murph, no laps led, but been in the battle all day long. Nunez led 1 solitary lap, but pretty good, starting from 32nd. Forsyth led 3 laps. Santos, not as many laps as he led yesterday. Seb Alexander's led 6 laps today. Lucas Lodato in 10th, no laps, but in the battle, and nevertheless, Christensen's led 3 laps. He's back in 11th. Ike at 29 laps now. We'll go through the field one more time, give you where everyone is currently, where they started, how high they've been, how low they've been.
If Ike can somehow manage to stretch to 160, a huge, huge long run. I don't think he can do it, but if he could put himself in a position to win with a race-ending caution with 5 to go. He won't make it if it goes green, but he would win if a caution comes out in the ending stages of this race.
Ike pit road.
Lead here. Oh. The old do what they don't strategy. See how it pans out for him.
"21 cars running, everybody on the lead lap with the exception of Bostaine, who is 8 laps down. So 20 cars on the lead lap. Where does Ike rejoin? Behind Seb. And in front of Christensen. Okay, boys, it's just the run now to the final stop. We're 155 of 200. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is the Indy 500 presented by ALZ.org. Part of the VOR IndyCar Championship, the 12th running. Leader is Liam O'Sullivan, started from the pole. Carl Stout, who has been up with the leaders for much of the second half of this race. He is up 13 spots. Julian Elton, a third. Martin Murphy up 4 spots to 4th. Luis Nunez, who started the shotgun on the field, he's 27th. Craig Forsyth is 6th, up 8 spots. Edson Santos doing a bit of a recovery from a bad pit stop about 3 stops ago. He's still recovering from it. He's down 5 spots to 7th. He started in the middle of the front row. Lodato 8th, Alexander 9th, and we're watching Andreas Ike in 10th. So now it's just the run of the final stop. There's nothing else really to do here. Just
run your race.
Run your
Don't
race.
make any mistakes.
There's only really 2 close races on the racetrack right now. We got this battle for 11th between Christensen and Stout. Christensen and Strauss, not Stout. Stout's up front, and that's the other closest battle of the race right here for the lead. Only 2 tenths separating them.
And Stout spun!
Inside! We just broke away as he started to go sideways. And that is... Game over for Stout, and that has, in many ways, I might believe, too much weight jacker with the way that car unloaded on exit.
Absolutely.
Look at it.
Just trying to get anything done.
Yeah, and there it is. Oof.
All right, my second bullet in the chamber is Mark Murphy. Come on, buddy.
21 laps led for Stout. Day is done. Very frustrating.
I mean, he put on a show. I had never seen him race before. He made me a believer. He did whatever he could to try to take the lead there. I look forward to watching him again in an IndyCar, wheeling and dealing like he did today.
Could this be the day that Liam O'Sullivan breaks through at Indianapolis? He's been so close on a number of occasions, especially in the DW12, often losing to Edson Santos by the closest of margins. He has family overseas watching. He is 40 laps away, 100 miles. We got the 400-mile mark, 100 miles to go, 100 miles to victory lane. And this is really the period of the race where the Rick Mears of the world come to play. This is when they pull the britches up, tighten the belts, make sure that helmet's on down as much as it's going to go. Turn that wicker up and let her fly. And then you see the top 5 right there in your screen. Actually, top 6, Edson Santos right there with them. O'Sullivan, Altena, Murphy, Nunez, Forsyth, and Santos.
realistically, anyone from Santos on forward is all within the same draft bubble. If they start racing or jockeying for position, they're all going to collapse on one another very, very quickly. O'Sullivan is almost to the point where he's shaken Altena, and then
he's actually extended the envelope. He's at 1.5. Actually, he'll lose part of it right here down the front straight because I think Julian is just enough of an envelope to sneak in. But as he goes through the corners, he seems to get through them a little bit better than Julian. Might extend that lead, or not. Maybe Julian's actually reeling him in. $15 laps on this stint for O'Sullivan, excuse me. Altena 17, Murphy 17, Nunez 20, Forsyth 12, Santos 20, Lodato 13, Sam Alexander 21, Ike 7, Strauss 16. So 170, the window is open to the end. Does anybody come in right at 170 and run it out from there?
I think you'll see a couple takers. However, I think it might be in the best interest of everyone on track to run as long as possible to short fill. I know that typically I'd say I want to go as soon as the window is open, but the way this race is materialized is that it's a track position race and there's big gaps between each car. If you can make up more time on pit road by short filling than you can by rolling the dice to see if there's a yellow late and you get cycled to the front, I think going long might get you a position or two, whereas short pitting relies on a lot more luck rather than execution and strategy.
Will Stearns checking out in chat saying, go Mark, go. Mark is in third right now. Lily Sobey saying, go Lodato. Well, Lodato is in this battle. He's back here in seventh. He's kind of separated from the top six. There you see the top six right in front of him. We'll ride along with Lodato here in just a second. And you're going to see these cars right up we get around this corner in turn 4. There's the cars down there that you see right there. Those are the ones he's trying to get to. But he is 3 seconds behind Santos, so he is well out of the draft and on his own. Ooh, and he hit the wall.
He's okay. That was a little bit of a netcode brush with the wall.
Weather situation.
Those types.
Go ahead.
Those types of brushes with the wall kind of suck the car just backwards on your opponent's screen or your competitor's screen. I've lost a couple front wings this season, or this past season, because of it. So, probably lost Homestead and Iowa, both of those races because of that.
Lindy keeps track.
Race car drivers have good memories.
Yeah, there you go. Long memories. Track temperature 116, ambient temperature 80, 52 degrees relative humidity here in central Indiana, the virtual world, and a 1 mile per hour wind from the northeast. That means it's coming from turn 4, or excuse me, northeast to the north. I think it's a wind to the northeast, and that would be coming from turn 2 to turn 4. That's where I need Andrew Wood. I need the catalyst here to tell me how to call the weather. He's a weatherman by trade. .167 of 200. O'Sullivan through turn 4 and ready to tick off another lap here on this 500-mile odyssey here for the 12th running of the VOR IndyCar Series Championship Indianapolis 500 presented by ALZ.org. Her pole sitter out by 1.6 seconds over his teammate and fellow front row starter Julian Altena. Back in third, Mark Murphy started 8th. Actually started, yeah, did start 8th. He's up 5 spots. The big gainer thus far, though, is Luis Nunez. That 4th car, that black car in line there. We'll get the camera on him. He started 32nd in the last row, in row 11, middle of row 11, 28 spots improved. The only driver to win from 32nd spot, Louis Meyer in IndyCar history. That's when he broke out the milk.
How do you spell Louis? Is it Louis, like the French spelling?
Yes.
Yes.
Just like Luis Nunez?
I see how you. I see you working. Actually, Meyer is the furthest back to ever win. He started from 28th. The best finish from 32nd hour. Just go back to that one. Is Jim Hurtubise, 1961. Try to spell that last name.
Hurtabeese. Hurtubise.
Pretty close. Hurtubise. Longtime fan favorite at the Speedway. In the USAC ranks back in the 60s. All right, windows open, fellas. John Christensen, first taker. Down and away, last stop. 9.3 seconds.
So the marker for Christensen is whether or not he can come back out on track or around Matthias Strauss. That's where he's running. If he can, that's the next position for him prior to the stop. If he executed well, that's the position he'll take.
And here he comes, Strauss. Strauss is going to get him. I think Strauss is going to get him barely. Strauss still needs to stop. He's 25 laps into his stint here.
Yeah, Christensen was well behind him on the lead lap, but now that he's a lap down, he's cycled behind him. So.
Edson Santos, pit road, final stop. Cannot miss his marks this time. Slides to a halt right on him. Up on the jacks. Leaner energy entry. Final stop here, Indianapolis. Down and away. 9.1 in the box. Luis Nunez, final stop on pit road. One of the first stalls he will hit. Seb Alexander, final stop. He's got one of the first pit boxes there. Yarno, final stop.
And O'Sullivan is covering. He's pitting this time as well. Although, it would have been so tempting if I were him to run right behind Santos, because I know Santos is fast.
Ooh.
Altena trying the overcut.
Down and away, waiting for those final drops to hit. 9.2. Julian pit road, along with Murph.
Follows him. Murph ate a little bit into Altena's gap on the pit road entry.
That's Strauss hitting pit road. Yeah, Strauss hitting pit road. Final stops. Final stops on the way. Craig Forsyth, now your leader. Craig, 25 laps into his stint. He went 32 on his previous stint.
Well, Murphy made up a ton of time on Altena. Here goes O'Sullivan. He will not surrender the lead. He's extended it, if anything.
Lucas Lodato fans out there, he is now second by cycling through this pit cycle. Got a shout out for Edson Santos. We're going to watch him. He's been sneaky fast. Had a bad pit stop, but he's done for the day.
Done pitting. He's still on the track.
Yeah, done pitting for the day, but on the track. We are cheering for Brazil. All right. Well, there's one of your drivers right there, Edson Santos. Ike staying out. Lodato pit road, final stop. Forsyth stopped on 150. Oh, he is, I'm going to take it right to that 180 mark. Hugo Gallus staying out. Seb Kinder still staying out.
He's going to come in this time, though.
Kinder 28 laps out. Forsyth 27, Ike 23, Gallus 26, Bree 27. Forsyth the pit road this time. Did this Millward taking off there. Final stop for the YouTubers. This is where Ike is hoping for that caution, I'm thinking, right?
Honestly, the caution now doesn't help him. If the caution comes out right now, he still has to pit, and everyone else has already pit, so he'll end up last. What he wants to have happen is for the caution to come out while he is either on pit road or in his pit box, or immediately after, or 2 or 3 laps after he has pit, probably on like lap 184, 185, to where other people will think they might need fresh tires, and his tires will be the freshest, and the gap will be eliminated.
Tim Bree, P3, 29 laps. This is a battle for position, but he's going to have to stop any time now. Ike as well. Ike staying out one more lap.
He's coming in this lap. I think Ike's got 5 more laps easy in the tank. He could maybe go 7 more if he's been saving.
20 to go, 50 miles.
Yeah, O'Sullivan now is just about 2 seconds ahead of Altena. Now
Yeah, we'll get the intervals here.
Yeah, and some change behind or ahead of Murphy.
There you
And
go.
Murphy's only hope really is that Altena catches and starts fighting with O'Sullivan, because I don't think there's any way that one car can pass 2 teammates in front of them.
Yeah,
That task is nearly impossible here.
Mariano says a yellow would be great after everyone pits, just for a little motion, or as probably the better choice of words, for a little drama.
Hey, Stout tried to give it to us, man. he tried his hardest.
Ike is leader right now over the field by 23.7 seconds, but he is due on pit road probably within the next 4 laps. O'Sullivan is second with a 1.3 second lead over Altena. A 1.1 second lead over Murphy, who has himself about a 0.7 of a second lead over Nunez. That is your top 5. Go back to that battle for 5th. That's as close as it is right now on the racetrack. There really isn't any other close battles. Everyone's done a good job, and everyone really has minded their best manners here. I mean, we started this race with 32. We had an incident right away, Lee Kane, unfortunately, right after a couple laps. And then we had a big 4-car wreck in turn 2 that consumed Inch, Evans, Santos, and Bonder. But then as time rolled on, Van Velde fell out. Meadows fell out. Jomo, we saw what happened to him. He fell out. Rizza, he fell out. Donskoy, saw what happened to him. Doshiko, saw what happened to him. They are actually, we don't know what happened to Donskoy, but we know what happened to Doshiko. I think he hit the wall. But now,
no, Donskoy and Murphy got together on the backstretch.
That's right. And they bit the wheel there in the shell ride. Okay, so we're back. I remember now. A lot of stuff's happened since then. Stout spun coming off of 2, basically from P2, and nosed himself into the inside retaining barrier there, and he's out. He's in 21st. So Cameron Bustane, who's not had the greatest day, but has a lot of experience here. He has worked his way to 20th, but he is 9 laps down. Your lead lap is everyone in the top 10, from 11th back to 19th. Which is Moore, Christensen, Kausch, Kinder, Salvazzi, Gallas, Bree, Lovern, and Millward. They're all 1 lap down at the moment. That is 11th through 19th. But your entire top 10 on the lead lap. Now, I think some cars are going to get back on the lead lap when Ike comes to pit road, and he is on pit road right now. Lap 185, 15 to go. Going to be a short fill. He's going to throw on a new set of tires anyways. Down and away. Ike on pit road. 8.3 seconds. One of the shorter stops, but that's a shorter fill right there. He just needs enough fuel to get to the end. No more, no less. Does he pop out in front of Seb Alexander?
Gotta be close. Alexander's got a run here coming off of 2, and now the slipstream of Ike. Alexander commits to the outside. He has the momentum, but Ike is now up to speed and holds the position. Liam O'Sullivan has caught lapped traffic, Gary.
Uh-oh.
This could change everything.
Yeah, and they're fighting for position as well.
Well, and they want to stay on the lead lap this late in the race. Millward goes high, letting O'Sullivan on by. Okay, that was very nice of him. Okay, next up is a teammate. I would imagine they're going to make this as painless as possible so they can swap that spot there. Bostane is currently 8 laps down. I can't imagine Bostane making much of an effort to try to stay in front of O'Sullivan. All right, final stops are done for everybody. There's Lovern getting out of the way. He might have trying to stay out of the way because Julian's coming. But that's actually going to be a battle for position between Millward and Bustane. Oh,
he's in the wall.
Gary. Now you're getting bypassed by the rest of the leaders. And he's going to be, unfortunately, in front of Craig.
Now, how hard does Cameron Bostane fight?
I can't imagine he would fight very hard or very long. He's 8 laps down. And there you go.
Yeah, surrenders immediately.
And you mentioned drivers have long memories. We'll remember who took care of us and gave us a favor late in the race versus those that decided they wanted to race us really hard when they're multiple laps off the pace.
I'm guilty of having done that a couple of times.
I bet you are. I bet you are.
Well, yeah, sometimes you your connection time's out or you have a power failure or something. And even though iRacing says you're 5 laps down, you're on the same strategy and cycles as everyone else. You want to prove that you belong to them, right? As long as you don't hit anybody, you're not hurting anything.
Twelve to go. 12 to go. Indianapolis 500 presented to you by the Alzheimer's Association on ALZ.org. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maintaining quality care and support. But they can't end Alzheimer's without your help. To learn more and to donate, go to ALZ.org. Link is in the description. Maybe you got paid this weekend. Send a $5 or a $10 to the ALZ.org, guys. It'll be worth your time. 11 to go. Once again, if you're just joining us, very late in the running here for the Velocity Online Racing's coverage of round 7 of 14 of the VOR IndyCar Series coming to you from Indianapolis for their Indianapolis 500 presented by ALZ.org, where Liam O'Sullivan started from the pole and is now the leader, coming to 10 to go now. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so don't miss out on the next race. Shane Coker says, is that the Clindy? Yes, that is
indeed
the Clindy. Overall gap to the leader. Christensen wants overall gap to the leader. Okay. There you go.
Thinking about rebranding to 3 Clindy, just because I can't seem to finish better than 3rd. Ever.
Altena now closing within 9/10. Murphy 3.3 back from this battle. Nunez 3.9. Forsyth 4.8. Santos 6.3.
Yeah, Nunez, Murphy, and Forsyth all threw sliders on each other last lap, and it caused a bunch of momentum to be lost. The tires are hot and old. The track is hot and slick. Drivers' tempers are getting hot too, just hot all over.
So if you go back and watch any of the older Indy 500s, especially the ones that Paul Page covered from the 80s and 90s, he always said something that we are now 10 to go, and the number of times that a driver has led 10 to go and have not won the Indy 500, he always liked that stat. Do we see that stat come true today? Is Liam going to win this race with leading with 10 to go, or are we going to see a new leader between now and then? Anything can still happen. 8 to go, 2 full qualification runs, 20 miles to decide this thing, and it's a battle between teammates. You've seen battles between teammates in the Indy 500 throughout history, specifically in 2001 and 2002. 2003 for sure. 2001 was Elio and DeFerrin, and then in 2003 was the other way around, DeFerrin and Elio.
Altena's within striking distance, and O'Sullivan will begin to experience some dirty wash from the lappers ahead. So we might have a late race charge.
Oh,
Altena's in the wall.
Yeah, I think he might have given it a little bit of a kiss. And that's a little late race loving that you don't want to have. He's pedaling it. These tires for all these guys, though, 20 laps in, are pretty trash. And track temperature is 118, so it's not giving them an easy job out there.
I think Altena got very lucky not damaging his car here. Oh, he almost spun off of 4. He was yawed out and counter steering. Sullivan trying to break the draft down the backstretch, running the bottom of the the racetrack.
That's Tim Bree. He wants to stay in the lead lap. Same thing with Silvazzi. They're all in front of the leader right now. Gallus and Kinder, they want to stay on the lead lap. 5 to go, coming to 4 to go. At this point, your spotter's probably in your ears saying, got a qualification run, hit your marks. Don't do anything dumb out there. Watch your tools. Don't over correct on the tools. You can see what happened to Stout. Watch your And that was a close call on exit of 2 right in front of the Riley Children's Hospital suites. Julian now 8/10.
O'Sullivan is on the radio asking for the lappers to get out of the way.
They don't have to. They want to stay, and they're on a battle for position in front of them, and they're on the lead lap.
And they're well ahead of O'Sullivan as well. If they pull over now, like, they've got to stop, basically.
Yeah, that 1 point. Actually, he's 1.3 behind Stout or Bree, so he's getting the dirty air.
Yeah, they would literally have to stop on track for them to be able to get by. Like,
nerves and desperation getting to O'Sullivan a little bit. Remainder of the top 5. Murphy in 3rd, Luis Nunez in 4th, Forsyth in 5th. Oh, Bauer slide for both of them in the turn 3 exit wall. They kept it off. 2 to go.
Altena's tires are screaming. He has punished them the last 10 miles. If they can hold up and get him side by side by O'Sullivan, I think we will have a new leader here. However, he has a large gap to overcome with only a lap and a half to remain.
White
DP sideways again.
White flag in the air. Liam O'Sullivan, 2.5 miles to go.
Can't make up 7/10 of a second in 1 lap, but I think Altena's going to try.
You can, but something's got to happen in front of him, or something's got to happen to him on the racetrack, a la Jarrah Hildebrandt. In a very similar situation. Leanly down the backstretch, into 3. Julian getting close, 7/10 now. Into the short chute. Julian still giving a hustle. Down 4, into 4, clear 4, down the front straightaway. No one else to worry about, but looking at the checkered flag and the yard of bricks, Liam O'Sullivan, your winner here in the Indy 500, presented by ALZ.org.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah. Liam O'Sullivan, then Altena, then Murphy, Nunez, Forsyth, your top 5.
I know Liam wanted this badly yesterday. In his podium interview, he said this race was the focus of the weekend. He put a lot of time and effort into practicing both qualifying and race trim, and it paid off for him. Congratulations to Liam.
Liam O'Sullivan, your winner. Julian Altena, second. Let's see if we can get a good shot of, here we go. Mark Murphy, 3rd. Nunez, 4th on that long climb from 32nd. Forsyth, 5th. Edson Santos. Man, all that was 1 bad pit stop for him, wasn't it? P6. Lucas Lodato. Great finish for him. Very quietly up to 7th and then number 7, Ike. Probably not the race he wanted. Definitely had the mileage if it turned into a fuel mileage race. He definitely was going longer than everyone else. Finishes 8th. Alexander on that other strategy comes home 9th. He was deep in the field. That paid off for him. Strauss in 10th. Nathan Moore very quietly worked his way up to 11th. Christensen 12th. Yarno in 13th. Hugo 14th. Good top 15 for him. Seb Kinder 15th. Silvazzi 16th. Tim Bree 17th. Those all on the lead lap. Gary Levern 18th. Adrian Millward and his first VOR Indy 500. He finishes 19th. Cameron Bostaine 20th. Stout. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What could that day have been for him? Finishes 21st, but a good strategy and was a player in much of the second half of the race. Doshinko 22nd, Darnskoy 23rd, Rizza 24th, Jomo in 25th, Cody Meadows in 26th, Chin in the pink car. We didn't see much out of him. Not sure what happened to him, but he finished 27th. Dan Inch, Jordan Edwards, Lucas Santos, and Lorenzo Bonder involved in that very early turn 2 incident, and Lee Kane, I think coming off of turn 4, possibly on lap 1 or 2, spun to the inside, hit inside wall, and ended his day 32nd. 32 cars for this race. Very good. Good recruiting.
Very nearly an entirely full field.
All right, let's get some replays queued up here, and then we'll bring in Mark, who I'm sure will have plenty of things to say. All right, there we go.
Mark's ready to go. You want me to pull him up here?
Yeah, let's bring him on up. Mark Murphy. There he is. Murph, P3 in the IAR car. It was a tough race out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gary, it was hot. It was slick. We were really struggling pretty hard for front grip, rear grip, any grip. It was just a mess. Trying to get any kind of traction, and dirty air was complicated, to say the least. You know, and I don't know what came from the update, but man, it just it was really hard to follow anybody after the tires got any kind of heat in them and sliding around and stuff. And I made the call. Kendall Paul, my good friend from the AMA series, AMA Truck Series, he spotted me. He made the call to come and short pit during one of those cycles, and I think I picked up like 5 spots. But other than that, like, once you got within a half second of anybody, it was just really tough.
Well, you're one of the first to go to the high line, and that seemed to work for you for a while. And then others kind of started to follow suit. What was working on the high line the best for you? Just clean air?
Yeah, just clean air. But then once it got hot, the high line really didn't work very well anymore, and you were just kind of stuck. The wind changed a couple of times too. The south end got really, 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 really plowy. And the north end got really, really super loose. And then, you know, every so often you'd get a cloud and it would change on you. And it was fighting the car for grip the entire race. But you know, I got to thank Seb and all the gang at IAR. I got to thank Kendall for spotting me, and golly, P1 and 40 Racewear and Admin Box for their support. And man, just One of these days we'll get one of these, maybe.
Go ahead, Clindy.
I just wondering if you took notes. You watched me all this season, finished third a whole lot, ran the high line a lot. I figured maybe you're trying to emulate me today. If this was your Clindy race, maybe you can do better going forward, because Lord knows I can't.
You know, I thought about that a lot last night. I was racing a truck of all things, and I don't normally do very good with a roof over my head. And you know, that's something that the Black Magic guys and Black Magic Studios guys and Kendall over at TMA have been trying to get me to do more of, is race with a roof. And somehow I managed to win a truck race at Bristol and have no idea. Like, we were running laps 0.3 quicker than the pole at the end, and I said last night, man, I don't know where those laps came from, and I don't win a lot, you know, even in the years where, you know, even in the seasons where, you know, we were winning championships and stuff. I only ever won like one race. I think the year I won the season I won the VOR championship, I only won one or two races maybe. So just keep putting it on the podium and keep putting yourself in position, and you know, good things will happen, man. And you know, it's a good day in the points. I'm not going to throw away a top three in a 500-mile race. Anytime you do that, it's an accomplishment. And you know, you just say, all right, that was about the best we could have done with what the circumstances were, and move on down the road. I'm not going to throw it away, man. I'm not going to throw it away, man.
I mean, you almost did with Donskoy. Any comment there?
Yeah, don't get back in the groove when you hit the wall and you're 40 miles an hour too slow. No, I mean, he slapped the wall pretty hard, and you know, Andreas got by him, and you know, I went to make the same move, and he was still pretty slow, and he could have left me a little bit more space on the top or just lifted out of it knowing that he'd hurt his car, but he kept his foot in it, and we kind of made contact. And you know, that happens sometimes when you got an internet connection from Indiana to Boston to, golly, I don't know, somewhere in Eastern Europe to back here. You know what I mean? Right. It's, you know, I didn't even think we touched, but you know, and I hate that for him. You know, he made a mistake, and then it got compounded probably through something not his fault. And you know, but the main thing is, you know the situation. If you just slap the wall, don't, you know, people are passing you, don't even make it close. You know what I mean?
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, all my sponsors will want to drop me after that comment. But thanks as always, everybody at Black Magic Studios, P1 Broadcasting, Abden Box, 4D Racewear, the group at Indy Alliance Racing. Just again, you're never going to turn in a third place in a 500 miler ever. You know, that's anytime. It's Clindy. You know, it's an accomplishment just to finish one of these things. And so anytime you do that and you do it in a podium position, you can walk away with your head held high. And I can do this again tomorrow, man. We're going to go Pocono and have some fun.
Pocono and the DW12s right there. That will be on P1.
Old bouncy
Legacy
Pocono.
Legacy, yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put my mouth guard in so I don't chatter my teeth. But,
7 p.m. tomorrow over on P1, and I was just talking with Andrew Wood, the Catalyst, and we're prepared to call that race. Well, congratulations, sir. You improved 5 spots, finished third there. Conditions really didn't allow you guys to race it out, but a good finish nevertheless. So we'll catch you at the next one, and then you and I will surely talk before then. No.
I guarantee you we will, Gary. Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your night. Here, keep having fun and going fast.
Yep. All right, let's bring up Julian here into the booth. Welcome, Julian. P2 ran out of time and tire to kind of run him down, but a good finish for you. Improved 1 spot and did a real good job on that 3-wide start, grabbing an early lead there. But talk about your race. You were just up at the front all day today.
Yeah, well, I'll start with congrats to Liam, of course. He wanted to try out and sweat this race, so I let him, and he pulled it off, so good job to him. For me personally, as it always is just about securing the maximum team results, so I was happy to sit behind and just sit behind Liam, follow him, and let him take the lead, I guess, there. So, it worked out great. Got a 1-2 for the team, which is an amazing result. But like I said, I was just happy to sit a second. Like, I know it's Indy, but I got a championship to think of as well, in a way. So, if Jesper's not here and I need to take points, then I will. So I didn't want to risk anything, and even the last 20 laps or so, Liam was weaving across the straights, and I was like, dude, stop weaving. There's no need, because I can't catch you. Like, my tires were completely burnt up. I couldn't do anything, even if I wanted to. So, yeah, I just told him to calm it down, and eventually, after he didn't believe me, he did. So, yeah, that's how we secured the 1-2. But yeah, this race, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't what it should have been, because the sim changed the car a little bit, not too much, but enough that it really nuked the setups, at least for tracks like this on the ovals. I heard some of the road course setups are actually better, but the setup that we had for this would have been the same as last season with slightly cooler temps, so the racing would have been pretty good. And like I said, it wasn't too bad today, but could have been much better, which is a shame. But that's the way it goes. I don't think anybody expected the sim to change the setups that much, which is also why I scheduled the event for this week, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done anyway. But you know, it was scheduled for today, so just had to run with it, and I think we made the most of it. So not too bad of a result, and the race overall, considering that.
Clindy.
Yeah, Juliet. So I don't know if I believe you, my man. You looked like you were wheeling that car the last 10 miles. You were sideways out of every corner. Were you just trying to hang on? Or to me, it looked like you were trying to track down Liam.
Dude, the track was 15 degrees hotter than it was at the start of the race. I was literally drifting. I was not even pushing. I was literally sliding everywhere. I was not going anywhere, my guy.
To me, it looked like you were driving at 10 tenths, right? So.
No, but seriously, like, nobody was able to really close in on the final 50 laps. Like, you might have seen the odd pass here and there, but even Mark couldn't catch me, and I couldn't catch Liam, and yeah, everybody was just stuck, like pretty much 8 tenths to a second to 1.2 seconds. Basically, that 4 tenths window is where everybody kind of got stuck at the end. So yeah, like I was saying, like, even if I wanted to try, I couldn't move my car anywhere meaningful to really try anything, even if I wanted to. So yeah, that's why I was saying, like, I was telling Liam to just not worry about it, because when you weave, you might lose distraction for like a split second, and you might throw it away. I've done that a few times myself, so that's why I was telling him to not do it. So yeah, like I said, it worked out. So yeah, 1-2 finish is something that I'm really happy about, and just really proud of all the guys. Shame about the early exits of the other cars, and some different strategies not working out, but at least we got the 1-2 in the back, which is the most important thing for the team's championship. So can't complain.
You mentioned big picture, and looking at big picture now, you got a 50-point lead over Jesper, who did not show up this week, and a 68-point lead over Craig, who is now in third. Murphy fourth. Strauss is fifth. Liam sixth. Silvazzi seventh. Lovern eighth. Ike ninth, and Inch is 10th. Now you had a nice little comfortable lead, almost a complete race lead now, with the second half of the season to go. Still plenty of time, lots of stuff can happen, but how's it feel now to come out of Indianapolis, not get the win, but you got the overall points lead going into the next race at Nashville? We know how difficult Nashville can be.
What I'm curious about is this: does that take into account the double points from this race? That's what I want to know.
I'm just going off what Sim Racer Hub says, so I don't know.
Okay,
whoever configured Sim Racer Hub would know that.
Oh, then I would have to know that. Then I don't. But, yeah, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. To be honest, I'm not too worried about it. Like, it's in my mind a little bit, but like I said before, like, I'm not gonna give presents to anybody, but I'm also not gonna try hard like Liam did today to win every single race. Not in this league, at least. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but just gonna take it race by race and see how it goes.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anybody want to say hi to?
Yes, my girlfriend downstairs. We're finally gonna have dinner after 4 hours of being in the sim, so I can finally feel my stomach. I almost have a stomach ache. That's how bad it is. So I'm very much looking forward to my meat and everything that I'm gonna eat. But yeah, I want to thank you guys, all three of you, for sitting up here for 2.5 hours to watch a parade for most of it, with the fuel saving going on. I want to thank the Alzheimer's Association and Dan Ench specifically for always supporting the series and the league in general. So really big shout out to him. And of course also alz.org. Check them out on the interwebs for more information and the option to donate. Alexander Boni from IFS Personal Financial Planning. Jim Hare from 40 Racewear. And did I forget anybody? I really hope I did not. I did not. Well, I guess P1 Broadcasting, you guys.
But of course, yes.
You've already plugged that enough. So, yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
No, but thanks to everybody who came out today. It was a great race considering the setup circumstances. It was a pretty clean race. 27 lead changes, I believe, is what I saw. So, yeah, the race wasn't all bad. It could have been better, but overall a great show for the league. I think it was very clean. Other than the odd incident at the end there, I think I heard something vague over the radio from a little birdie, but it was good. So on to Nashville.
On to Nashville. Well, congratulations on the P2, and you got now the points championship lead halfway through the season. Still got lots of racing to go, though, but congratulations on today. We'll check you later.
Yep, see ya. Thanks, guys.
Take Julian now. We'll bring up Liam now. And probably not done celebrating over across the pond with the family and friends. Liam O'Sullivan, the winner today for the 12th running of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series Championship, Indy 500, presented by ALZ.org. You definitely earned it today, and you had your hands full there at the very end with kind of an ill-handling car. I think everybody was kind of in that same position. But talk about your race. You weren't always a leader, but when you were, you pretty much commanded the front.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say. I mean, it was the plan going in to keep out in front, especially with the way the set is, that iRacing kind of wanted to break every setup under the sun for everyone. But so it was very kind of put together last minute, but I think it put together quite a good race. Julian, I just want to give a massive shout out to, like, we followed our plan to a T of how we were going to run this race from start to end. And that's a credit to him, the way how we just got and followed the whole 500 miles, stuck to the plan. Even with only one caution, which was unusual, we made it work and brought home a 1-2.
Well, Glendy.
Yeah, Liam. So you did a great job managing the race, but you had some contenders and some competition throughout that you had to pass and contend with. One of which we saw was Stout, someone I was unfamiliar with. He did a really good job managing the race and getting by you and your teammates and the other front runners until he lost it trying to pass you. Did you feel a sense of relief when you knew one of your biggest competitors was out of the race?
I mean, Carroll's a guy, I mean, you wouldn't know, who I've been working with a lot from. I met him in the fixed in Milwaukee about 2 weeks ago, and I was helping him out for qualifying and stuff. So I got to know him quite a bit, and I mean, I just spoke to him. Just he's in the waiting room now, and I said to him, like, look, you drove a heck of a race for, again, your third or fourth race, and it's gonna come. But yeah, I mean, I'm more grateful it didn't bring a caution. I think it would have completely changed things. But yeah, I'm struggling for words. But it's
soak it in, buddy. Soak it up. You earned this. Yeah. You kicked a lot of butt today.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get the milk out still. But
yeah, that's the thing. You got to take a video of yourself drinking the milk, and you got to put it on the VOR Discord server so we can see you all drinking the milk. You don't have to pour it over your head. You don't have to do like Caleb did or anything like that back in the day, but you definitely have to drink the milk.
Yeah, I'll try. Hopefully there's some there. I don't know. But yeah, massive shout out obviously to the team, mum, dad watching, grandparents watching, everyone else who's watching who I can't think of at the moment. All the amazing partners of VOR, Alzheimer's, IFS, obviously the team, and yeah, I set out what I said I'd do yesterday, and it happened. So yeah, perfect race from my side, and I think I'm going to struggle to top it.
Well, in the real world, 21 drivers have won from the pole the Indy 500. We can add you as add into the virtual world as yet another driver winning from the pole here in Indianapolis. Congratulations. I know you're very happy, probably emotionally drained, So please go celebrate with the family. Get some beverage, get some water in you. That's a long day. Get some food in you. Go celebrate, and we will catch you in a couple weeks when the rest of the season kicks off, kind of for real here again, when we get to Nashville.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep. I think he's a little overwhelmed right now. Final thought.
You've been sitting in the car, your arms get tired, your brain gets tired. You know, you spend probably the last fourth of the race thinking, I can't mess this up. I can't mess this up. I can't mess this up.
What's gonna happen that's gonna screw me this time? You know, what's gonna prevent me?
Yeah, exactly.
My computer gonna, all of a sudden, is the computer gonna receive Windows updates now? You know, you name it. Final thoughts before we move on. To my regular broadcast partner for the IR18 IndyCar Championship, Ryan, what do you think of today's race? Final thoughts before moving on.
Oh, like our podium finishers said, you know, the conditions weren't ideal. It was hard to pass, but despite that, we at home got a fantastic race.
Kalindi, a little double duty with me this weekend, so anytime we could do Indianapolis together, it's always a fun time.
Yeah, I love this place. Sometime we'll have to do it in person, Gary. I'll let you know what my plans are next May.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the best part about today was whenever you tried to make a pass, you got passed. So it really made drivers be defensive and aggressive at the same time. Hopefully, we can get the setup figured out and not have to resort to running a track that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit to get them closer together. So
right.
We'll see what Julian cooks up for next season.
Well, that is going to do it for the day. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Once again, your podium from the Indy 500 presented by ALZ.org. From Indianapolis, Liam O'Sullivan getting his first win here at the Brickyard in the big series. Julian Altena, just a kind of, another podium for him here at the Brickyard. Has a lot of those, a lot of experience, brings his car home second today. Mark Murphy, again, another podium for him. One of these days he will get that win as well. But that is your top three. And, and another shout out to Luis Nunez for starting 32nd to come home fourth. A brilliant run. And I believe he is one of the qualifiers for the IndyCar Pro Series. And best of luck to him when that series starts. But kind of to show you his true talent to drive that car from 32nd with these conditions and this setup. The fourth really shows how well that he's going to do in that series. So good luck to him. And shout out to Craig Forsyth for, again, making me look semi-smart for coming home in the top five. But join Ryan and myself again September 21st for the next round of Season 12 of the VOR IndyCar Series as the teams and drivers head just 4 hours south here in Indianapolis to Nashville in the Nashville Superspeedway. Coverage will start approximately at 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. Remember, as always, correct broadcast time in your area. You can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/@VelocityOR or just search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought of today's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. And everyone that's chimed in chat, we really, really appreciate your interaction. Thanks for following along. Thanks for playing the quiz game with us there. You guys make the races much more entertaining when chat is engaged as well. If you're new, click subscribe. While you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out more of Velocity Online Racing's other iRacing programming, which will all be in 2 weeks. Will be the Iconic Series at Nashville, and it will be the IR18 Series at Nashville as well. And don't forget about the Sprint Series. You want to check out their Sprint Series that runs in the middle of the week. It's just timed IR18 races, and it's pretty good. And that's over on FTN. But check out the channel for the next time that they run, and you'll watch them if you click the Remind Me button. The Indy 500 was presented by the Alzheimer's Association and ALZ.org. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality of care and support of caregivers. But they can't end Alzheimer's without your help. To learn more and to donate, go to ALZ.org. The link is in the description. Any donation that you can send their way is greatly appreciated and will go a long way in ending a disease that really needs to be ended. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. Learn more about Whiplash. Find them on Facebook, like them there, or follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description. For business inquiries and learn more about Velocity Online Racing and what they do, visit velocityonlineracing.com or like them on Facebook or follow them on Twitter. So for Ryan Erik King, the Clindy, and everyone else at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Godsoe saying, happy Saturday. Thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here, September 21st in Nashville for the next race of the VOR IndyCar Series Championship. See you, everybody.